Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vtuber Talk. I'm your host, Jay, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. For those of you who haven't been here before, Vtuber Talk is designed after classic late-night talk shows. Everything here is live, casual, and the goal is to simply have fun conversations that'll entertain people who are already familiar with the guest while still being accessible for new fans. Hopefully I've set everything up right tonight. I think my audio is coming through. Please let me know if there's ever any issues with my audio or my guests. And speaking of guests, please welcome my guest for this evening, Eve.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome on in, Eve. So excited to have you here. I can tell from the emotes that we're seeing in chat that there's a good number of people already familiar with you, but for anyone who might not be, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Eve. I'm a kitsune who lives in a daydream, and tonight we're yapping it up. And I'm excited.
We are indeed yapping it up. Yes. Also, Chocolate Milk 141, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. You know, we had to actually do a bit of scheduling. Scheduling is always something that's interesting for collabs and just communications in general, whether it's, VTubing, what have you. Working schedules, and especially if it's across time zones, can be a thing. But when we were scheduling our pre-show talk and for tonight itself, one thing that we both realized is we have a weekly immovable commitment that we had to just inherently work around. And that's D&D.
Yes.
So, everything streaming aside for a moment, what's going on in D&D for you?
Oh my gosh, what a loaded question right off the bat. Yeah,
I ask only the toughest questions here on VTuber Talk.
Every Sunday I play. I've been playing in a campaign for the last 2 years, maybe.
Ooh.
We just wrapped up our first campaign, and I was playing a Kalashtar druid named Kel for a whole year, and now recently I am playing an ASMR paladin named Briar, and things have been crazy.
So is this the same world, but with a new party, or is it a completely new world with the new campaign?
It's a good question. I'm not 100% sure yet. It's our DM hasn't revealed everything to us yet. But one of our party's past characters has made a debut, I guess, in this campaign. So it seems like that could be the case.
That's always fun if you have a consistent DM, and frankly, if you're able to get a consistent play group. The fact that yours has been going for 2.5 years is a very good sign. That I feel like most groups, if they don't fall apart in the first 6 months, it can probably go forever. But 90% of groups are going to fall apart in that first 6 months.
That's so fair. Yeah, we try and meet every Sunday. It's been going pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, mine's usually on Wednesday, so if any of you have ever paid attention out there to when the shows usually are, I do schedule around my guests, but Wednesday nights, I think there's only been like 1 or 2 shows there because we are pretty consistent. But admittedly, this past Wednesday, we just had a couple of folks that were out, but it's been going. I think ours, we've shuffled, I think, between 5 campaigns over the past, actually it's probably 6 or 7 at this point, because we've been going at it for about 6 years now.
Oh my
and
gosh!
We have 2 DMs in the group, and they, for the past 2 years or so, have switched off every week whose campaign is running, and that sort of alleviates things for both of them because it means they have time to develop and write in advance for each week. But
that's so cool.
Yeah,
Holy moly.
The DMs just put in so much work.
What do you
nice to your DMs, folks.
Would you get like confused between weeks, like if you're playing a
sometimes.
druid and then you like start casting a druid spell when you're a barbarian?
That does happen. It absolutely does. Of just, all right, oh no, I don't have that spell in this one. Crap. Oh no.
Yeah,
oh wait,
like
this is the one that has the low dex. Ah!
I feel like if you're playing 2 spellcasters, things would get confusing.
It can. That my characters for the current campaigns are it's a half elf. It's a half elf sorcerer, and then the other is a Goliath paladin. That's what it is.
Ooh, cool.
So both spellcasters relatively different ones, but I still confuse their spell lists every week.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you have any particular way that you approach character building that there's so many options and there's so many ways that people do it? I know folks that go into campaigns saying, all right, I want to make this type of character. I have this full fleshed out concept. I'm someone who sort of works in reverse. I let everyone else in the party choose what they want to be, figure out what the party needs from that, and then design a means to that end. But for you, how do you make your characters?
My first character, honestly, I just think druids are really cool. I love druids so much in D&D, so I just wanted to make like what was in my brain for a character, I guess. But for the second one, I kind of did the same thing as you and let everybody else kind of pick first, because they had all been playing for maybe a year before I had joined. So I was like, okay, well, they've been stuck with their character for more over a year, so I'm gonna, fill in the gaps, I guess. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I play quite a good druid, which made everybody jealous. And now we have 2 druids in our in our party. So I decided to be a paladin to kind of counteract that. But man, I think I showed them how cool being a druid can be.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm enjoying being a paladin. It's very different being like a frontliner versus like strategically staying back and shooting spells.
Oh, that was a big thing for me, because while I've hopped around to a lot of different classes and roles over the different campaigns, usually I end up tending towards a squishy character, one with low defense, not the frontliner that just, for whatever reason, in the past there had always been someone in the party that wanted to be a brawler, the tank, really. So we get to the first session or two of me being a paladin, and I sort of have this moment it was the first or second combat of, oh wait, I'm supposed to run toward the enemy right now. That is my job. I have to fight every instinct in my body as a player right now to, be far back and try and hit the enemy from afar. I do have ranged spells as a paladin still, but I had this moment of like, oh wait, no, I'm supposed to actually pull aggro. I'm supposed to take damage because the point is me not taking much damage so others don't take a lot.
That's so funny.
I've gotten much more natural at it since, and if anything, that's the other thing that I need to remember when I flip-flop, because the sorcerer is very squishy.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah,
so the paladin's been a lot of fun.
Full plate armor. I'm not squishy. It's nice. It's nice when your DM is like, "Does that hit?" and you go,
"No."
No.
was that below an 18? No.
Oh my god, mine's 18 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels good.
Are you using a homebrew campaign? Or rather, I guess, is the DM doing a homebrew one, or is it based off of one of the pre-written modules?
It's homebrew.
Homebrews are always, I think they end up just being more fun. That it's admittedly a lot of work on the DM, but if they're able to do it, that you get to do just a lot more cool things.
Yeah. No, I've never played a module before. Because I've only done that, I kind of want to at some point.
Gosh, now that I think about it, the only module I've ever played was a very, very heavily edited version of Curse of Strahd. And
classic.
It's so... What my group did was so far from the source material, I kind of want to play a proper Curse of Strahd campaign, because I don't think I actually got the proper experience.
Oh man, I feel like Curse of Strahd is so iconic though. Like if you've been doing D&D for like a couple of years, like you probably know the twist of Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, it's certainly up there. That between that and like what is it, Tomb of Horrors. That it's really up there for name recognition.
Yeah.
Have you ever played in any adventure leagues, any of the local game store environments, or has it always been with folks that you know?
It's only ever been with folks that I know. I haven't. I kind of live in the middle of nowhere, so I don't think there's a lot of nerdy people out here.
I say this with much love for Adventurers League as a concept because not everybody has a group that they can play with. I'm glad Adventurers League exists. If you have a group to play with, you are not missing out on anything with Adventurers League.
Oh, saying with all the love and respect
Of just,
in my heart.
It's a good system. I'm glad it exists because not everyone is as fortunate as we are. But I will say that the group that I play with now, a couple of us had been in campaigns together previously. We didn't have quite enough, so we went to the local game store and we had 5 of 6 seats at the table that were consistent. And then there was one seat that basically every week was going to be somebody else. Sometimes we'd have folks consistent for a month and then they'd be gone. And having part of the party shuffle was difficult. And it made it worse when sometimes you would just get folks that were not respectful of the party.
Yeah, I gotta get that party synergy.
And especially when it's a 9 and 11-year-old who are a little bit off the handle. Like they're children, that's how they're gonna be. I'm not blaming them, but you know, when you're trying to do a stakeout, and then the 9-year-old says, "Oh, I'm going to run in." The DM gives them the chance. They're like, "Do you actually want to run in? That's probably not a good idea. I want to run in."
Are you?
And everyone
sure
else
you
at the table's just like,
that I don't think I could handle that. But like for a one-off session, I think it'd be so cute to see. What
no, if we had gone in with
does.
I think that playing D&D with a kid who is, you know, old enough to be literate and understand things, but also still young enough to be that type of chaotic can be a fun time if you go in expecting that. If that's what you want to, whether it be for one session or even just, all right, we know we're going to have this campaign and there's going to be a wild card here. And I've never played a campaign like that, but I feel like if you expect that, if you embrace that, it can be fun. This particular instance was not so great.
I can't imagine playing like a weekly game with a small child.
Yeah, that was one of the big things that sort of pushed us over there to realize, oh, wait a minute. We have enough of a consistent party. Let's just go to their house and just start having our weekly session there. Same time.
Oh, you do it in person?
They live like, 10, 15 minutes from the local game store that we were already playing at. So we just sort of had this epiphany moment of, wait a minute. We've reached the logical end of what Adventurers League is supposed to do and just found a good play group.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. That's super sweet. Man, and it's been going 6 years?
Yeah, that's when
awesome. And it's
things
in person?
shut down. Well, it was in person for a while. When things shut down in 2020, we didn't skip a beat. We just went to Roll20. We've switched, I forget what the new system, I think it's Forge. But that we've been online since 2020, and we just realized even though we could go to an LGS again or to somebody's house, it just saves everybody a bunch of time to be able to hop on Discord, play online. Systems nowadays, you can plug in your different spells and whatnot, a single click to roll and calculate. It just saves a bunch of time and is a bit easier for folks. So we've kept it that way, but that may also be a reason why we've been able to stay so consistent after all this time, because it's a little bit less of a commitment.
Yeah, we use Tarask to play.
Haven't used that. I've heard of it though.
It's pretty nice. When I was playing my druid, I could keep an eye on everybody's health really easily because they would just input how much damage they took.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Definitely a added benefit to just be able to glance at the screen and see, okay, I see their health bars in the red, and not having to consistently ask around the table, all right, what's everybody at?
Yeah,
you're at
exactly.
You're at that, you're at that. Okay. All right, how far away? One second, I need to stand up. Can't quite see the map from this angle.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, if you're able to get a good group of friends for a campaign, it's such a special thing, and that I feel like a big reason why D&D has endured and grown so much is just because of the amount of creative freedom that it allows. I know there's been various kerfuffles with the Wizards of the Coast and different systems and whatnot. I hear about that on the periphery and be like, that's nice. I'm gonna just keep playing over here.
I'm just gonna stay in my own lane. Yeah.
I feel for the, there was something to do with the content creation guidelines, and for that I definitely feel for the folks that that's gonna actually impact what they do. And at the very least,
they rolled that back
for what it's worth.
The outrage.
Yeah. For as many missteps as Wizards of the Coast seems to make with D&D, they do roll the vast majority of them back. So at least they listen. Wish they didn't step in it as much, because I feel like there's a lot of folks that go through a lot of stress and heartache that's probably not necessary at the end of the day. But I suppose a couple of points are due for doing something and reacting, even if it was kind of their mess up in the first place. But better than some, I suppose.
That's fair.
But even if Wizards of the Coast were to evaporate at this point, there's so much knowledge and information for these systems that tabletop gaming is obviously here to stay, and it's so cool to see different people's approaches and just the way that people really interact with it, because there's no wrong way to play D&D, and that some folks are very nitty-gritty with all of the, what's your carrying weight, and you need to make sure to have enough food. My campaign, as long as the weight that we're carrying isn't something absurd, the DM doesn't have us calculated, and we need to justify, okay, how are we making sure that we have food in a given day? And as long as we can justify it, they're not going to, all right, hunt to forage for squirrels to make sure you all don't starve or something.
Oh, man.
But you can do that if you want.
Yeah. I feel like there's been a lot of love this past year for D&D content. It's been a very D&D content-pilled year, and I'm so here for it.
Do you have any favorite memories, or just favorite battles or crazy, silly rolls?
When I was playing my druid, I can't remember what path it is called, but she was the type of druid where you can summon a lot of animals to fight for you. And we were doing this battle, this like final boss battle, and we were super outnumbered, me and my party, and our frontliner barbarian couldn't reach the boss because there were so many people, there's so many enemies in front of him, and I summoned, I think, like 8 monkeys and grappled every single one of the small enemies, and I succeeded on every single grapple.
Oh, let's go!
And my DM was
that
like,
opens the path.
And it opened the perfect path for our barbarian to just like smash the big bad, like super bad.
Oh, that's so
I
good.
felt kind of bad for my DM a little bit. He's just like, oh, that okay.
Hey, Gam, I know you put in a lot of work into this encounter. I know you statted these all out and made sure their movesets were good. Found a way to invalidate all that stuff.
How about 8 monkeys? I raise you 8 monkeys who grapple everything. So that was a good feeling. A good evil feeling.
Being able to have those creative solutions, and just sometimes things do work that well, and sometimes it blows up in your face, and sometimes it's funny anyways.
Yeah, that one sticks out to me.
Yeah, it's been a while. I played a druid 3-4 years ago. I was the one where I turn into the bear as opposed to summoning the bears or the monkeys. Druids are, well, all the classes have a lot of different ways to approach them. But you mentioned that druids are sort of the class that you end up tending toward. Is there a particular reason? Is it the play style, or is it just you like animals? Because I definitely do know you like animals, but...
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think, like, the connection to nature really appeals to me. I feel like I can like thematically play that kind of character well. I feel like defaulting to, you know, tree-loving hippie is very fun. I think that kind of suits me as a person. But yeah, I like the aesthetic of them as well. And it was quite the first class to pick as my first ever time playing D&D, because if you know anything about druids, is they have very large amounts of spells they can cast and a lot of different things they can do in battle. They're very much like an all-rounder.
Yeah, it is a relatively complex class.
Yeah. So, but I think kind of throwing myself into the deep end was pretty, like, I love all of the options available to me as a druid, because I can heal, I can attack, I can stay back and like survey, I can become a bird and like give details from above. Like, there's so many different options with a druid that you can do in combat and just in general. So I think that's why I am most drawn towards them. But I am enjoying my time as a paladin, and being able to just big bonk something incredibly well, doing one thing very well, I am also a fan of.
It's very satisfying just to know, okay, when it gets to be my turn, I'm going to hit that thing with my hammer. It's going to do a lot of damage, big numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like my brain can turn off a little bit more versus when I'm a druid. I'm like, okay, so if this person does this, then I'll do this. But if they don't, then I'll have to rework my thing. And it's like, oh, did I take this spell today? I gotta go check if I if I chose this one, because I believe druids can change their spell list every short or long rest. I can't remember, but very frequently. So yeah, there's a lot of more strategy, I feel like.
Yeah, and that my paladin, since paladins usually work with charisma, it means that brain off a little bit in combat, since I'm able to use charisma stat for, you know, most of the blessings and whatnot, and I have high strength, but then I can still have brain on moments out of combat that I'm sort of the diplomat, and I'm one of the people who's talking a lot. You know, surprise, surprise, the talk show host also likes to talk in D&D. During the non-plot, or sorry, the non-combat elements of the plot, and that way I'm able to sort of have my cake needed to just to. You're absolutely right. The simplicity of being a tank is necessary, rewarding, and nice, and I enjoy being able to sort of have both styles of play, one simple, one a bit more complex.
Yeah. Man, my paladin, she's like a princess of the land, and so she's kind of main character coded, which doesn't mesh amazingly with me, because I'm always like, whatever you guys want to do is fine with me. But it's a good challenge to have to step up a little bit and be like, okay, this is the plan, this is what we're doing. We had this, oh man. We had this time, we were in this town and nothing was getting solved, and it took like 4 sessions and like minimal things were solved, and I was kind of tuning out. We got to like the 5th session. I was like, okay, what do we need to do? This? Okay, I'm gonna go do that. Like, I just had to take it into my own hands and be like, all right, I'm getting shit done now. Yeah. Things have to be in motion now. Yeah. I want to get back to bonking things now.
Y'all are talking too much.
Yeah. So it was simple things that could just be solved with yapping a little bit.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and that just made me remember one of my favorite, really strange resolutions in D&D. That basically we came across a town that had been put into a bubble that nobody can get out, and that includes us at this point. Ooh. We were trying to figure out a lot of different things, and we found out pretty easily that it was the mayor who had set this all up, and we were talking about a bunch of different ways of how we can approach this, how we can potentially get him to either lower the barrier of his own accord, or, all right, how are we going to then break into his office and then find how to break down the barrier. We had a lot of planning, a lot of talking through all that, and we didn't actually go in with a great plan. It was just sort of the best that we had. We go in, we don't see the mayor. We find a hidden passage. We go into the hidden passage, and we realize it seems to be a dungeon of sorts. Okay. We see a button. We see a big button.
Push.
And we sort of examine it. All right, does this seem like an obvious trap? No. Okay. Well, we're not quite sure what this button does. It might call a lift or something, so let's push the button. We push the button and boom. Cave in. But not on us.
Oh.
We had accidentally walked into the back of the dungeon. This was the mayor's secret entrance.
Oh.
This was not how we were supposed to enter it. All of that planning, we were supposed to get in the front another way entirely, and the button was what the mayor was potentially going to spring on us as we get to the end. The DM's plan had been for us to have to either stop him from pushing it or escape, and it was going to be sort of a last big tense moment.
Your poor DM was like, are you sure you want to do that?
We collapsed in the entire dungeon. All of those different encounters that were supposed to happen in combat, they all just died. They just cave in, all gone. And with all of the troops that the mayor had down there that were supposed to intercept us, there was just the mayor left with nothing, because the mayor was not going to be a combatant, and that's why he had that last trap. So we bypassed a full dungeon after discussing it and just saying, all right, we're gonna have to do this thing. Well, I guess this is the start of the dungeon. Beep, boom.
Handled. That's pretty funny. Your poor DM.
Yeah, just like, sorry, we legitimately didn't even mean to outsmart that one. That was just stumbling onto the answer.
That's so silly.
Do you have a character, whether it be like a specific concept for the type of character or a class that you want to play that you haven't gotten to yet?
Yeah, actually, I was kind of... I don't want to be a repeater, but I mean, I love my druids, so I was concepting out another druid, but they could be like a wizard as well, because I've never played a wizard. What is it? Is it a dark gnome? Deep gnome? Deep dark gnome character who's like a creepy little mushroom, nasty little guy. I've never been able to play, like, they're not so much like a joke character, but something just a little more silly goofy, meant to be kind of like a comic relief, silly little creepy feller.
Oh, it's been a minute since I played a comic relief character.
Yeah, I've never played one. I see my friends in my group playing one, or we have a couple, so I'm like, oh man, I want my turn to just like be a silly guy, or just like really get into the role play, because I feel like role playing a character is a little difficult for me. So if giving a character like a very specific trait that you can really tap into, I think makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So if they're just like a nasty little mushroom gross little guy, I feel like that could be super cool. They're supposed to be like a spore druid.
Yeah.
Gosh,
now I want to do that, because
I
guess one of the problems that I have is, one, obviously I like to talk. Two, it's difficult for me as a player to not try and think of a solution for things. And that if, as a character, whether it be low intelligence or low wisdom, low charisma, if I, as a player, think of a solution, or, I think I know what we could say in this instance that would get us the information or help persuade this person, but, I have very low charisma, this isn't what the character would do, it's very difficult for me
Mhm.
to hold back and just be like, oh, I want to get to this solution, but I can't actually do it because it doesn't fit with the character.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you design a character that has, like you're saying, some very strong trait that
Yeah, whether good or bad.
yeah,
Like
that could be a lot of fun because
yeah.
I've done ones that are high charisma and flavored them with different distinct traits, so it's not always just, all right, it's just me saying the things that I'm thinking of out of character, that I'm able to actually get in character in my own way, but that I do need to actually start making more characters that actively push me out of my comfort zone. And the idea of sort of a Joker Gremlin type of character, I think could be very fun. And those types of characters can still be smart in their own way. And that might be the balance that I've been looking for something that is different enough, and the types of thinking and diplomacy that type of character might try is not quite what I normally do, but that it still would give me as a player an outlet to problem solve in ways that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
like,
thank
if
you.
played-
I'm going to steal that idea.
Please feel free to. Yeah, because if you played something that has maybe a low wisdom score but a good charisma score, you could execute your plan, and even though it might not be the smartest thing to do, you can charisma your way through the situation a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that is super fun. That's kind of like my next thing I'm concepting.
Have you played any other systems outside of D&D?
Not really, honestly. I mean, I've been playing for 2 years, but I still feel very new to the whole thing, really. We were kind of talking about that in the pre-interview. It's like, when do you stop feeling like you're new at D&D? But
I've been playing this long, and I still know. I have a couple friends in the playgroup who know spell lists forwards and backwards. I still have to ask them, like, hey, okay,
yeah.
well, just hit level 9. What's a good 5th level spell to pick? That I'll glance them through, but I don't know offhand, all right, this one has a lot more functionality, or this one just ends up being better. And so I have them narrow down the choices, and then I pick the ones that I want from that. But that even after all my years, there's so much information in D&D, and that outside of it, so many other systems, and that there are certainly similarities that once you are used to a tabletop RPG system, you can probably play most with relatively low barriers to entry. That as long as one other person at the table can explain to you what's going on, that you should be just fine. But at the same time, there is a reason that D&D is the gold standard.
Yes. I haven't played it, but I'd really like to play a Honey Heist. Do you know that system?
I've not heard of that one.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was concepted or made by one of the Crit Role people, but a Honey Heist is basically you play as a bunch of bears, and your goal is to just get honey. But instead of having like a wisdom modifier, charisma, all of these things, you just have, I think, I can't remember what it specifically is, but it's just 2 things. A lot of systems work like that when you just have like 2 things, but one of them is like bear and one of them is honey or something like that, for every choice you make. So the more points you have into the bear category, the more like crazy and rage-filled you are. And then the more points into honey you have, like the more
I'm looking this up
smart.
right now. It's bear and criminal.
Bear and criminal, that's what it is. Yeah.
Bear, maul stuff, run, climb, shrug off damage, scare people, and generally do bear stuff. Criminal, used to do anything not directly related to being a bear.
Yes, exactly. I think something stupid easy like that would be super fun to run as like a one-off thing. I've really wanted to do a Honey Heist.
Well, that seems fun.
And you get to play a silly little bear.
I'm looking it up that this is actually a one-page RPG system, and that there's a couple of these, but they're always so cool to see. Of just, all right, D&D, one of the things that makes it so cool is that it's incredibly complex, that there are so many options, you can do a lot of different things. But then taking the opposite extreme of restrictions breed creativity of just, you have these very simple things you can do, and you need to justify it from here, and you as the
Bear
player
or
need to be
crime.
creative. Bear or crime,
So
but
good,
why
yeah.
not both?
Could be both.
I'm actually gonna, I might pass this along to my group sometime
Yeah,
for
you
a one-shot of
should.
our own.
I was thinking, cause for some reason, I never expected them to be, but my mom and my little sister are also very into D&D. I ran like a one-off campaign, small campaign for them during the summer, and I feel like something like this, like a honey heist, would really suit like a family kind of situation.
Yeah, I don't think several folks in my family just do not enjoy tabletop games. They just don't have the patience for it. But
Yeah.
if you do have other gamers in your family, this does
Yeah.
look like something that you could use just at a family gathering, or if they are at least open to tabletop games like this, that this could be a good foray into the genre, that it seems very, very approachable.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up playing games like Catan and Monopoly and all of those things, so we do like our tabletop kind of games.
Yeah, my father and one of my siblings really likes tabletop games. My mother and one of my other siblings just don't have the patience for it. They just
That's so fair.
They don't like sitting down for like more than an hour for really anything. But there are a couple folks I know that would definitely enjoy this, so yeah, thanks for telling me about this one.
Yeah, of course.
You were mentioning that there's been a lot of good D&D content this year. I know the third season of Legend of Vox Machina just started airing. I haven't seen any of season 3 so far, so please no spoilers. I
No
have seen all
spoilers,
of
of course
seasons
not,
1 and
of
2,
course
though.
not.
Really
Yes.
enjoyed it, having never actually watched, listened to any of the original Critical Role content. I've seen, clips here and there, but not much. But for you, have you been into D&D content as a whole, or any specific particular creators?
Yeah, so in college, I got into the McElroy brothers and the Adventure Zone specifically.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what got me into liking D&D a lot. Listened to the whole first season of that. I hadn't really listened to their more recent stuff, but I hear it's quite good as well. And then after that, was there something in between? I can't remember, but it mostly Critical Role after that. But yeah, I got into podcasts a lot during college time. Sitting. I'm an illustration major, or was. So a lot of doing art at my desk for hours and hours and hours and hours, and listening to podcasts at the same time. Yeah, so the Adventure Zone got me into it, and then I have enjoyed the Critical Role campaigns as well. And man, the show is so good.
Yeah, the clips I've seen a couple of animatics of just, there was the clip that I remember. I think it was one of the characters is getting a sword from, I don't think it's blacksmith, but that they're in this shop, and that they are basically haggling for a very powerful sword. I think they get some very absurd roll or use something silly. It's been a minute since I saw it, but I remember I really enjoyed the exchange.
Yeah, I would say, like, honestly, the Adventure Zone is a really great first D&D campaign to get into if you're looking for a podcast D&D, because they start off very jokingly, and like nobody really knows how to play D&D properly, but as the campaign goes on, they get really into it, and the characters start to mean a lot to them.
That's great.
And they start to learn a lot more. I feel like it's a little bit hard to go back to if you've been into D&D, because you'll be like, that shouldn't be possible. That role, like, that is not how that works. They definitely flub some things, but it's very much more story and character driven than rules based and campaign.
Yeah, and if you're making something for a podcast or just for entertainment, sometimes you need to do that. Even if you know, all right, that's not how it's supposed to work. I think it's good that the DM is creative enough to say, all right, well, this happens because otherwise it's just going to be, well, it's a nice podcast, everyone. Let's make new characters. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but they were great. I also like NADPOD, which is
I've not heard of that one.
Not another D&D podcast. Is the full title. And they're great. They host specifically D&D court show. Which is super silly. It's people bring their D&D stories to the court.
Oh my gosh.
And they rule whether the DM or the player was at fault.
Okay. Ooh.
In the story.
Ooh, I like that
Highly
a lot.
recommend. Very good. Very silly. As well as Dropouts. D&D campaigns are really good with Brennan Lee Mulligan.
I have not seen their campaign, but I've seen a fair amount of
clips.
Some clips, but also I've seen a lot of why am I blanking on the name of the show? Poof! Wow! It's their game show. It's the game show with the rules are different every time. Game Changer. Thank you. Oh, I feel so dumb that I couldn't remember that, but I've seen a lot of Game Changer.
Yeah.
And Brennan Lee Mulligan is obviously very, very funny, very creative.
Yes.
So I can only assume that put a tabletop RPG in their hands and it's just going to be wild.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man, their campaigns are great. They have a bunch on Dropout now.
So you mentioned that you initially got into a lot of these podcasts because you were finding things to listen to while working on art. So rewinding a little bit from there, how did you first get into art? Was that something that just from a very young age you were drawing and doodling a lot and eventually realized, oh wait, this could be a career thing? Or was it something that you maybe discovered a little later on in life?
It was always a thing. Like when I was a little kid, like the questions of like, what are you gonna be when you grow up? I've always said an artist. I kind of just like, since I was a little kid, and my parents encouraged it, thankfully.
Well, that's
a lot.
good.
Yeah. When I was a little kid. So it's kind of always been a trajectory for me. But now I feel like doing VTubing and social media is really my like bread and butter. Like art was something I always enjoyed and always thought I was, pretty okay at. Like the typical like, okay, I'm good at this one thing, let me try and make a career out of it now because I don't know what else I would do. But through going through that whole process, I kind of found out what I really enjoy, and that is what I'm doing right now. I kind of fell into it, which is nice.
What type of art did you tend towards? I guess that's a big question. So I will say later on, your most recent stuff before or as you were discovering VTubing, what type of art did you...
Sorry, 1 second. I have to take a break.
Oh, yeah. Okay. For all you folks out there in chat, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying so far. It's Kitsune Pilot, I'm hoping that's pronunciation. Boy lot. It's Kitsune Pilot, I'm guessing. Zerlith, the Pumpkin King 6, Post Maloney, Zamboy212, and Mantis Draken. Thank you all so much for the follows. Welcome on in. Sorry for not thanking you all earlier on. That once I get talking with the guest, I usually just let things roll, and sometimes I'll just go through everybody at the end of the show or find an opening, and I got an opening. So thank you so much for the follows. Hope you're enjoying. I do these shows, usually it's once a week. This is actually the first show I've had in a month. I've just been very, very busy over the past few months, but getting back into the swing of things. I have a couple more already in the queue. Not going to announce any yet because I have terrible luck. Every time that I say on air, my next show is going to be with such and such on this day, every single time I have to reschedule. I think I've 5 or 6 times because I try not to announce things too far in advance and I don't really want to step on the guest toes. But there was one time where I had what was going to be 2 shows in 2 days, and it was like, okay, this show's tomorrow. We're all set. We should be good. And then something came up last minute. It was completely, not the guest's fault. There was nothing they could have done about it. But just after that, I feel like I'm so cursed. I can't say, all right, my next show is going to be such and such on this day, because I feel like if I do, that's when things get changed. 90% of the time, schedules are able to actually stay pretty consistent. And it's just whenever I actually say it on stream that it changes. So follow on Twitter and here on Twitch, and you'll find out there. I usually announce a couple days in advance. But yeah, that's my curse.
Hi, sorry.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. My roommate slipped on a cat and fell.
Uh-oh, I hope the roommate and cat are all right.
They're fine. But I heard some yelling from downstairs.
Yeah,
so
I heard a
I
little
gotta
something,
go.
and it was just like,
I'm so sorry. Holy moly.
Good, well, glad everybody's all right.
They were going down the stairs, and there was a cat at the same time, and it seems there was a catastrophe that happened. And
Oh no.
I just had to check if everything was okay. Sorry if you heard something.
You're good. Tom asked, which cat was it?
I'm unsure, but my guess would be Trunks, my roommate's
That's what 2
cat.
people have guessed so far. I was like, Trunks, no! And Zamboy was like, it's definitely Trunks.
Yeah, he's kind of a little shit disturber, a little bit.
What type of cat?
He's just like your typical tabby cat. He's like black cat with white bush. He's got a white chest, and then my 2 cats are one of them is Omi, who's a Siamese and Bengal mix.
Ooh.
He's a very beautiful boy. He looks like a little tiger. And then my other cat, Jockin, is an all-black panther-looking cat. He's very beautiful.
Ooh. I like cats. Cats usually like me. Their dander doesn't like me. I am sadly quite allergic. Not deathly, but runny nose, watery eyes, sneezing, coughing, very bad
works.
time. And I swear cats know who is allergic to them. That they can sense it. That anytime I walk into a house with cats, that they just, they walk right up to me and they, rub against my leg, and they're all very friendly, and it's like, oh, you're so cute. I wish I could pet you. I can't. Please don't be mad at me for ignoring you. I have to, otherwise I'm going to be sneezing up a storm.
I'm so
curse.
sorry. I need
sad.
a cat in my arms at all times.
Love seeing cats and just love animals in general. It's just their dander that doesn't like me.
Yeah, that's so true. The cats always tend to go towards the ones that want nothing to do with them, right?
Yeah, and it's dogs too, because I'm allergic to dogs that shed to a lesser degree. But inevitably, whenever I go to a friend's house, with a golden retriever, those things shed like crazy. They're super friendly and adorable. I love them, and they always just walk right up to me, and, I suddenly have a whole bunch of golden retriever hair on my jeans or something. It's like, oh, I want to pet you. I can't. But
That's so
I grew
sad.
up with poodles and then later golden doodle. So I definitely know the comfort and love of having a pet on your lap, or, just being with you.
Yeah, my cat Omi is usually on my lap or behind me in his cat tower. He makes appearances on stream sometimes, screaming in the background.
There have been many pets who have made cameo appearances on Vtuber Talk.
Oh yeah. You might hear Omi. He might start meowing. So sorry in advance.
Yeah, no worries there, no
comes
worries.
through.
Before the catastrophe.
Yeah, sorry about that.
yeah.
Holy moly.
No worries. Before all that, we were talking about art and the type of art that you'd been doing most recently.
Yeah, well, before I got into VTubing stuff, I have a bachelor's in illustration, and I was doing a lot of motion design work for companies. So using After Effects to make moving things, kind of like VTubing a little bit. It's the same concepting. There's meshes and stuff that you need to adjust and move. It's like puppeteering, but like a little more complicated maybe, because it's all done by hand for the most part, whereas like VTubers are rigged up to move with tracking. So yeah, I was doing that for a little bit, and then the great COVID hit, and things got a little scary in the art space. And then we found VTubing.
I forget. Do you do your own rigging at all, or
No.
Wasn't sure if there was. You mentioned the similarities, and while there's obviously a lot of differences, I wasn't sure if you had also potentially fallen into rigging at all. But...
No, yeah, it's a completely different program versus what I'm used to. There are similarities between them, but I haven't had the time to even go back to the stuff I used to do. And then getting into a whole other new program is a whole other thing. I could probably wrap my head around it if I had enough time, but no, I haven't. I pay the people who are really, really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stylistically, sorry.
No, you go.
Sorry. Stylistically, what type of art and illustration did you tend to? Not any specific, professional work, but did you, tend towards fantasy or more cartoony, or was it more realistic illustrations?
That's a good question. I tended towards more like child-like drawing, like illustrations and art for kids. I was studying to do books for kids for a lot of my final years in college. So more simple, cutesy, light, bright colors. But I studied part of most illustration studies. You need to know the fundamentals, so we did a lot of like life drawing and realistic rendering, and I had to label every single bone in the body and a lot of fundamentals, so that you can be a well-rounded illustrator, as well as a lot of graphic design work, which is these days what I do the most, is graphic designing a lot of things. But yeah.
That's really cool, and that the holistic, educational basis for illustration definitely makes a lot of sense. That I am completely uninclined artistically myself. I am, there was never a question for me that just for you, as you knew you wanted to do art and that it was something you were good at. I always knew I was bad at art. I always knew that was not something that I wanted to do. But I have a bunch of friends who are into various creative fields, some who are artists, and that I know, like you were saying, basically, it doesn't matter what specific discipline you want to go into, that having the fundamental knowledge of, you were even saying down to human bones, of just how do bodies move, how does movement work, that regardless of if you're doing hyper-realistic, more cartoony, more childlike, that you're going to need to understand just how a leg functionally moves, that it's not just the stick figure back and forth, that there's actually, the mechanics of it all. And in some ways, I'm at the point where I think that after people in the medical field, apart from doctors and nurses, I would guess that artists probably have the best understanding of the movement and structure of the human body than basically any other professional discipline.
Yeah, I would say that's very accurate. It's kind of a curse sometimes because when I look at art pieces or like animations, I'm like,
That's
that
not
wouldn't
how
move
that
like that.
works.
Nah, something's wrong there. You know, those tangent lines, or oh man, this is all off. The body, the pelvis is higher than it should be. Blah 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 blah. A little bit there. You see all the wrong things instead of just being like, ooh, pretty art.
Yeah, the curse of knowledge, and that can
Yeah.
again be for really any discipline. That as soon as you
Oh, for
know the inner
sure.
workings of something, you can't look at it the same. That you understand either okay, this is why it's wrong, or oh, that's right, or sometimes it's just wow, that's really good. Oh, that probably took a long time.
Yep.
Oh, I don't want to think about how long it took to make that.
Yep. I was working on some projects with a few of my friends recently, where we had gotten a logo back for something, and they were like, "Wow, it looks so pretty," and I was like, "This is completely wrong. We're gonna have to ask them to redo this part." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Do you not see this?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, I had to, I had to point it out more specifically. And they're like, "Oh, I'm glad you pointed that out. I never would have seen it." Something along those lines.
Mm, Uh, you mentioned that naturally as you've gotten more and more into VTubing and content
Mm.
creation, that art has perhaps not taken a back seat, but that the amount of time that you've spent on it has been a little bit less, and that's just how things go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you think that you would ever want to do art as part of your content? That set aside all of the current professional work, but that
Mm.
there are some folks who are full-time art streamers, and even if you don't go quite in that full-time art direction, do you foresee or have any interest in doing art as part of your content, or do you think that's something that is just very separate that you might not even enjoy doing as content?
That's a good question. These days I really prefer less so traditional drawing and doing illustration to designing, like graphic design, bashing things together to make a nice cohesive piece. I don't think I could ever do something that wasn't creatively based in some way. But I don't think I could do the traditional, like, sell my art for money in that sense anymore. I think those days are a little bit behind me now. I'd much rather go the social media route or mentoring or something within that kind of space than go back to working at a studio or yeah, just selling like on
You're not
places
going to
like
be opening
VChan or
commissions
something.
anytime soon,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
sounds like.
I won't be opening commissions for for artwork, no.
No, entirely understandable. But still, I have to imagine, at least for graphic design, hopefully that's made things a little bit easier for you, whether you're designing something just as a promotional image for your own content.
Oh yeah.
I can't recall off the top of my head if you make specialized thumbnails at all for anything, but that I'd have to guess that those skills that you have, even if you're not going to be using it as part of your own content or opening commissions or anything, that hopefully that's something that you can at least use for yourself to make your own life a little bit easier.
That's why VTubing has meshed so well with me, is because I can use so many of the things I learned and know to apply to VTubing. If you look at my channel, I do have a thumbnail for every single video I upload or stream. I make my own thumbnails for all of those, as well as YouTube videos. I edit together most of my TikToks. I do have an editor now. Love you, right? You make my life so much easier. But before that, I still do edit my own content, which I learned a lot of through school and through my time doing motion work. And I animated my own lore video, which was fun. And yeah, I mean, every schedule I post, I put together myself. I made a special graphic for Halloween to announce all of the different games I'm going to be playing this month. Yeah, I don't know, it comes up a lot.
What do you have planned for this month that, as of now, as I double-checked, it's like the 11th, right? Yes, haha. I do know the days. That today's the 11th, so still got a good amount of spooky season left. Anything that you're setting up or working towards as we get toward Halloween?
Yeah, that's a good question. What do I have left to do? I have a lot of the Chilla's art games, horror art games. They're a bunch of indie horror games made by one person that I have lined up. I just finished Until Dawn, which I really enjoyed. So I'll probably be playing another game from that company. What is the other thing? Oh, I just started Fatal Frame, which I've never played before, which I've also been really liking, so I will be continuing that. The new Silent Hill 2, or the remake, came out.
Yeah, that just came out.
So I will be playing that as well.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised that so many horror games come out around October. That that's got to be deliberate. But I hadn't even actually thought about it until you started listing things out. I was like, yeah, that just came out 2 weeks ago. That came out just the other day. I remember seeing a bunch of people stream this. And that's one of the cool things in just games nowadays that since distribution, there's certainly ups and downs with digital distribution, don't get me wrong. But that the barriers to entry for game developers are so much lower than they ever used to be that back in the day, if you don't have the ability to place a minimum order of 10,000 units and get them made and then shipped and then distributed to all the brick and mortar stores, you don't get to have a game made. But nowadays, folks can make their game, upload it to Steam or itch or whatever platform or host, and that the game can be out in the world. And because of that as well, it's easier to schedule releases, whereas if you have all of that supply chain to worry about, you need to plan things very, very far in advance and then hope that there's no production delays, etc. And that nowadays we're able to actually get these types of seasonal games and get them in good numbers.
Yeah. Besides that, I played Lethal Company with some friends, and we're concepting playing maybe something else like Demonologist or something together. And then I just started playing Sea of Thieves with a friend. I don't know if that counts as a spooky game. It's scary to me. There's a lot of scary things that happen in that game to me.
I haven't thought about that. Just because there are ghosts and that you have. I wouldn't classify it as a horror game, but definitely that it has those spooky elements to it. Certainly. Yeah,
I definitely yelped quite a few times playing that game. So more plans for that this month as well. But yeah, lots of spooky things happening. I'm trying to. I really love Halloween. I think Halloween is. I don't know if it counts as a holiday, but if it does, then it's my favorite.
The commercialization of holidays is an interesting thing that some I think are good commercialized, some I think bad, and I feel like Halloween, I've very much been okay with the commercialization of Halloween because I feel like it's always been commercialized and that it's become just more societally acceptable for adults to be excited about Halloween. That it's not just a kids thing, it's, adults might not trick or treat, but that whether it be, getting spooky outfits or playing spooky games or just generally leaning into the spooky aesthetic. That's something that not every season really has. That, you get that to an extent for the winter holidays, but, people don't get into the spring aesthetic the way that people get into Halloween and the fall aesthetic. You don't really see that as much for the summer, beach stuff, I guess, but there's something uniquely fun about Halloween it's just, I think, a net positive.
There's just something about seeing silly little ghouls and ghosts and goblins around that makes me so happy.
Yeah. Now, very difficult question. As a kid, what was the candy that you wanted to get when you were trick-or-treating? That, you
Oh.
ring the doorbell and they, pulled out a plate of candy, bowl of candy. What are you hoping to get?
Oh man. That is a hard question. If it's chocolate, then I think they're called Crunch Bars. They're like a blue chocolate.
Yeah, with the rice.
Yeah. I liked the crunch. But other than that, I'm really into sour sweets, like sour gummies. So probably something like that.
Sour Patch Kids, like that.
Yeah.
I like sour gummies. I don't like sour hard candies as much.
Yeah, same. I hate Warheads. Too sour.
Yeah, just
far too sour.
that being able to actually sort of chew through it, that it makes it so it's more of a fleeting thing. Whereas if you're just sucking on a sour candy, like you were saying, it just becomes too strong, or that the sensation quickly for me overstays its welcome and goes into discomfort. But if it's just sort of the burst of sour flavor, and whether that gives way to a sweet flavor, or it's just because, all right, I've chewed and swallowed this piece of candy, so now my palate resets a bit, that's definitely how I enjoy sour tastes. But
I would make my little sister take all of the Warheads because she liked them.
yes, that's half the game as a kid. The trading at the end, the stock market of candies.
It was intense. It got serious.
And that certain ones just always had low trade value. That
it's so true.
I feel like Skittles and Starburst, the sort of fruity ones, usually had pretty low value, but every so often you'd find somebody who really liked them and that you can
was the
trade
opposite
well. Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. High value trades for sure. It was hard to convince her.
E-flop, Tootsie Rolls, bottom of the barrel. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because even the folks that like chocolate don't really care for Tootsie Rolls. But Zareth has my favorite Reese's Cups. That not Reese's Pieces, specifically Reese's Cups, or just something that has
also very high
more
value.
chocolate and peanut butter. Yeah. And I did like Crunch as well. Crunch was very good. That was one of the ones that I felt like I was able to get good value in the trades with others, because not as many people like the rice.
For some reason.
Yeah.
That one and Coffee Crisp were my
favorite
ones.
Just, you give a kid a coffee flavored thing. I think that's actually just adults that were ahead of the curve in enjoying Halloween for themselves. They bought the Coffee Crisps because that's what they liked.
They hoped
and they
that
figured
was
that there was going to be leftovers. That's what they could have. And the kids just didn't take this. They took all the other stuff. So I now have all these Coffee Crisps, and I'm not gonna throw them all away. So I guess I'll eat them now.
It'd be wasteful, No, those two are my favorites. Even as a little kid, I don't know why. Maybe it's the art student in me that loves coffee so much.
Yeah,
from a very young age.
And they always said back in the day, it was like, oh, your palate will develop and you'll like coffee. And it was like, no, this stuff's so bitter, it's terrible. And then later on, it's like, oh no, I don't mind it so much now. The one type of candy I just could never get, and I'm not super unique in this, I do not care for coconut.
Oh, I love coconut.
I like coconut flavor. I don't like, Almond Joy. I don't like the grainy, shredded coconut texture.
Oh, I love that. We can trade.
Yeah, no, that's the point. That's the best thing of, all right, you find somebody who doesn't like what you like and vice versa, and that's when the best trades are. Win-win.
The high value versus the low value candy.
Yeah. Dang, now I'm hungry. Now I want candy.
Yeah, right?
I live in an apartment, so I never get trick-or-treaters, which admittedly that's... I don't know if I do or don't miss it. Maybe it would lose its novelty really quickly. But I don't know. But certainly, it's going around trick-or-treating as a kid, that's such a special memory.
Yeah. Man, I was telling a story recently on stream of I'm a very tall girl, and my trick-or-treating career was ended maybe a few years too soon because of how tall I am. So I was in I think it was middle school. So like grade 7, I think. I don't know when's an acceptable time to stop trick-or-treating, but I was
Yeah,
very young.
I remember
And
my friend. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I had a couple houses be like, "How old are you? Like, should you be trick-or-treating?" I had a costume on and everything, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe people aren't so bad about this these days, but back in
Yeah,
my
back in the day,
day.
like I was saying, I
But-
feel like there has been sort of a cultural shift to be more accepting
Yeah.
of Halloween, not just celebrating, but also trick-or-treating, and, that if someone's out in costume and having fun, that, I remember the way my friends and I sort of combated that a little bit. I think the last time that I went traditional, quote-unquote, trick-or-treating was probably in 5th or 6th grade. But I remember that my friends and I went out in 7th and 8th grade, and we would do skits that we would have just sort of like a gimmick
for that.
of, not person opens the door and that, pardon me, ma'am, we noticed that you have a dead body on your front lawn. One of our other friends is just, laying on the ground, not moving.
Oh my God.
Well, fortunately for you, we have a very capable cleanup service. Hey guys, get over here. We found another one. And then 2 others would, just grab the body, walk it around the side of the house and say, all right, so, our usual finder's fee is a couple of candy bars, a couple of pieces. And then suddenly there would be screaming from the side, and the 2 cleanup crew folks would be sprinting away from the now awake zombie that had initially been laying on the front lawn.
It's going to cost you extra.
And, and scene, we get our candy, the folks get a laugh. I think there was one house that I remember we had, the opening line was like, pardon me, it seems you have a dead body in the front lawn. They shut the door in our face and turned off the lights. You're like, oh, okay. But everybody else was very appreciative of our little performance.
Aw, that's really sweet.
But that's how we sort of got around it when we were a little bit older.
A little older, yeah, that's fair. You put in work for it. That's funny.
It gave us something fun to do. And then the other thing I would do when I was older is I would hide in the recycling bin and scare kids.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the obvious next thing to do. No, I'm an older sister, so I had to take my little sister around trick-or-treating. Watch her get all the candy.
Oh, they wouldn't even give you candy for trouble?
Of course I charged her a big sister fee.
Okay, good, yes. It's only fair.
I mean, it's only fair. I have my fees to pay, But yeah. It's not fair, man.
Now, that's actually sort of what I miss. Of just because the neighborhood I grew up in, that there was always a lot of kids of various ages, and my sort of standard when it came to scaring was if you're old enough to trick or treat on your own, you're old enough to be scared. They're with their parents. The parents, 9 times out of 10, would stay at the bottom of the driveway where the recycling bin was while the kids went up to the door and got candy. So I would just quietly poke out of the recycling bin and be like, hey, are you okay with me scaring your kids? And half the time I would accidentally scare the parents.
Yeah, of course.
And from there I'd respect the parents' wishes. That some were like, no, they wouldn't like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure. And then just be quiet, let them go. Others would be all in on it. Oh, yes, please scare my kid. Oh my gosh, by all means.
A menace. That's so funny.
And yeah, and you don't get that type of fun with other holidays. We need to find more ways to do stuff like that on more holidays.
More scaring of kids from recycling bins on
Yes.
holidays.
And it was always the recycling bin. I wasn't, like, even if it wasn't, recycling day wasn't the next morning, I'm not that committed to a bit that I'm going to hide in the trash can. I don't care.
Yeah.
It was the recycling bin.
That's so silly.
So, you'd been mentioning Sea of Thieves, and may or may not be considered a spooky game, but I know another series that I would say definitely tends toward the spooky, even if not necessarily considered horror, would be Dark Souls. And I know that series is one that you really got into.
Yes. I got into it as a joke. One of my friends gifted me Dark Souls 1 as a joke because at the time I was playing like Stardew Valley. I was doing art streams, very like comfy, casual gaming, and it was a complete joke of
Yeah, that's the
like,
polar opposite.
yeah, complete opposite. And as a meme, you know, I let me commit to a bit. I love committing to a bit. I played the game. Unfortunately, maybe I got a little bit too into it, and I was like, oh no, wait, I'm like really enjoying this now. Wait. And it kind of continued from there. So I've played through 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and now a lot of offshoot indie games like Lies of P. And I've been working my way through Wukong. Yeah, now I'm a big Souls enjoyer. And I'm a variety streamer, but when people ask me what I do, I say variety, Souls-like, roguelike, that area.
What do you think about the Souls games appealed to you, given how far it is from what was your normal content at the time?
That's a really great question. You know what? I've never really thought about it.
Because something obviously
question.
clicked. And I know I say this as someone who's not fallen down the Souls rabbit hole, but that, you know, I've been fortunate to have many folks on the show who are also really into Souls-like games. And I know for some, it's the combat. For some folks, it's the world building. There's different elements, and that the reason the genre has done so well is because there's a lot to enjoy. But were you ever able to sort of figure out, or even just think about it now, something that might have been what really hooked you?
I think it's a little bit of both, the world building, because I love horror-based things. I'm a big horror fan, and there's a lot of like more spookier things, but also obviously like very inspired by Berserk, the manga, which I am a fan of as well. So fantasy-wise, a lot of things clicked there for me. I enjoy Berserk. I enjoy Junji Ito, who do very like spooky things and have very spooky worlds. So like thematically, yeah, I think Dark Souls clicked that way, but then also the combat is really interesting because you're given a very simple problem. Maybe this goes back to D&D. You're given a very simple problem of, okay, boss is here, he has health bar, you need to get health bar to 0, but there's so many ways to go about it, whether you're slinging spells from the back of the arena or getting right all up in there with your sword and dodging out of the way. It's very like
It has those RPG elements.
yeah, like it's a little D&D. I don't think it's the D&D game, but there's just a lot of things that unexpectedly clicked there for me. And I think specifically streaming the Souls-like games is really fun because they're so iconic now. So when you get to very specific parts, people tune in and are like, oh, what's gonna happen? Oh, what is she gonna do? So that was really fun. A big part of my stream is chatting and playing games at the same time. So getting to go through the whole series with my chat was a really special way to enjoy the games. And I think that's what makes them extra special to me as well.
And folks who can play Souls games and chat at the same time are on another level. That the game takes a fair amount of concentration, and that obviously there's times in between fights, so I'm certainly not going to begrudge a streamer. It's perfectly normal if it's, all right, you know, we're chatting as we're exploring the overworld, and if it's a non-boss fight, you can usually just multitask, and that's not too difficult, and then they'll, you know, really lock in when it comes to a boss fight. But some folks just get to that level where, all right, so today, chat, we're going to be doing our no armor run, and they'll just be holding full conversations while dodge rolling against these crazy difficult bosses while having different imposed stipulations, and they do it like it's nothing.
Yeah, I'm not quite there.
But the thing is, my guess is that you will get there, because the whole thing about Souls games, all you need to do, no joke, is get good. That it just says, do the
It's an
thing. And
overused meme in the space, but there is a little bit of truth to it. Like
it's
I can get through
practice.
Elden Ring quite a bit easier now that I've played it many times.
The first time people play a Souls game, they die a lot. That's just how it goes. That's the design, and that it's just repetition, and you slowly learn, you get better, and eventually you realize, oh, I am good.
I definitely have to like lock in a little bit sometimes, especially if it's a game I haven't played before. I feel like I can get through Elden Ring quite well, and still keep a conversation. But sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, chat, I gotta focus in. I gotta lock in a little bit. Let me give me a second to get through this. But there's a lot of downtime in Souls-like games.
And
to
they can
yap
be
it
very
up.
fun to watch regardless, because, you know, all right, even if the streamer's dying over and over again, that it's, all right, one more try, or it was really close that time. Sometimes you can get, you know, gamble polls in for that bit of extra engagement, and then you have people cheering for your success or your failure. But that it is, as someone who is not actually good at Souls games, I can enjoy watching someone play a Souls game regardless of if they are incredibly good and they're just, you know, mowing down a boss, because that's fun to watch, or if they're really struggling, but then you see that iteration, and even over the course of a stream that you can see them usually get better, or sometimes it's just, all right, this could be the run, and that alone is the hook of,
Yeah.
I want to keep watching because this could be the run.
This could be it. One more. Surely just one more.
We'll get him this time.
I'm a big believer in, if you have interest in the Souls-like series, anyone can play it. As someone who had never played that type of game ever before, if I can do it, I truly believe that anybody can do it. So if you have interest in it, I would highly suggest it. It's a great time.
Now that I went about 10 years between playing Souls-like games, that I played Dark Souls 1 at a friend's house the summer it was released, and naturally was very bad at it, and didn't play again for a while. And to be fair, it was already not usually the type of genre that I was into, but that for a charity marathon reward, I did Elden Ring last year, and was better than I expected to be. Still pretty bad, but that playing through that, I realized, okay, I get the fun and why people enjoy this. And admittedly, I never actually went back to it, but that's more a function of just my own schedule, and I don't play as many games as I used to. But that I'm glad I went back and was able to have that experience for what it was worth. And it's very clear why it has become such a beloved genre and why it's become such a successful one, especially for streamers.
What build did you do?
I did it was a relatively hard-hitting build. I think that it was a broadsword, that two-handed sword. It was just, all right, let's go with basically the paladin build. Let's get the heavy armor, big damage.
Fair enough. Man, that game can really change, specifically Elden Ring, depending on what kind of build you go for, because I've ran through the game quite a few times now, but I first played it similarly, like big sword, good hit good, make big damage, brain serotonin. But replaying it again as like a spellcaster was a completely different experience. Super fun. Spells in Elden Ring are super, super interesting.
You mentioned to me that you actually have watched Dark Souls video essays. What were the video essays about? Was it about the design, the world building, the enemies?
Mostly the lore, because the story is really difficult to follow, especially when streaming. They give you little lore tidbits, but it's a lot of reading item descriptions, and like you have to pay attention a lot of the time, which is hard for me while streaming and keeping my attention on chat and everything. So a lot of the video essays are what the actual lore is, of the games, and specifically, I think the story is something along the lines of Miyazaki, the creator, was inspired by English fantasy books, but he didn't quite understand all of the English because he's Japanese. So he wanted that same experience of a game where you don't quite understand everything, but you can kind of piece the things together so that everyone can enjoy it. So that's where the video essays come in to kind of fill in the blanks of what is predicted or like filled in, I guess, by most people as like, well, this is the general like consensus of what's happening
all right,
in
if
the
we
story.
connect all these dots, and all right, the folks who have gone through and collected every bit of lore and parsed it and figure out, okay, this is chronologically how this goes, this is all the lore that is related to this character or this area, and actually aggregating it and then putting out in a digestible format, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't have all of the time to read every item description and piece together the story myself.
Oh, Captain Crabs, welcome on in. Hello, Raiders. I'm Jay. This is Vtuber Talk. I'm talking with Kitsune Eve tonight. We were just talking about some Dark Souls. Hopefully you all are doing well. Crabs, I hope you had a good stream. Captain Crabs is actually the artist that made this model.
Oh my gosh!
I was mentioning to you before we went live that this was initially going to actually be a mascot, but then saw the design, really liked, and was like, well, Crabs, I know that you do both art and rigging. I know this wasn't part of the initial thing. What if I upgraded my commission request to rigging? And fortunately he said yes, and here we are.
I was commenting on how cute it is. It's a very good design.
Yeah, I knew even before the design was made, I knew I wanted Crabs to do the art for the potential mascot, and actually didn't think that his commissions were open, but as luck would have it, he had opened them like a day beforehand. So it all came together very nicely.
It was meant to be. I feel like that happens a lot for VTubers. It's like, oh yeah, I had a couple options, but this just kind of fell into my lap, and like things worked out so well. It's kind of the same kind of situation.
Yeah. But Crabs, hopefully you had a good stream. Hope you're doing well. Raiders, welcome on in. Crabs, do take care of yourself. Get some food, get some drink, get some rest. Really appreciate you all raiding in. Hope you have a wonderful night. If you're able to stick around, please do. But if you need to be on your way, totally understand.
Hello, Raiders.
So for the Souls video essays, with all the different world building, I'm not actually sure. I know, obviously, for the different games that there is an amount of consistency, but is there a central story, or is it more of this is all stuff that happened in the past?
It's a little bit of both. There's specifically in Elden Ring, there was a big war that happened, and you're kind of put into the present of a world after that big war and calamity, and you're kind of going through the world, picking up the pieces of what happened. But yeah, all the different Souls likes kind of take place. I don't think it's the same world. I never really thought about it, but I think they're all kind of in different areas.
I know that story. Elden Ring and Dark Souls. Sorry, when I used Souls there, I meant specifically the Dark Souls franchise. But you mentioned similarities to D&D, and I hadn't actually thought about it that way. But it is sort of the concept of, what if you were a one-person D&D party that you can have summons and assistance to a degree, but that's all right if you are entering into a D&D-like world and it is just you. How are you going to approach that? Because I feel like you could take that concept, apply it to a tabletop RPG, and it would more or less become Dark Souls of, all right, you can be a rogue, you can be a paladin, but you don't get to have a party. It's just you going through this campaign, and inevitably there's going to be some stat that is lower than the others. There's going to be something that you're not good at, and you're going to have to figure out how to get through things.
Besides Baldur's Gate, obviously, I think the most D&D-like experience I've had playing a game is playing through the Elder Scrolls series. Specifically like Oblivion or Skyrim.
Yeah.
Oblivion is a big favorite of mine. I really like that game. That is the most like dungeon crawling, like, oh, I am playing D&D right now. What is it? Dragon's Dogma was a little bit like that, but that game is it's it's an interesting game. It wasn't the most perfect game, I would say. A lot of interesting bugs with that game.
Actually, so and thinking of D&D and just different spins on that genre, that actually I'm finding the consistency here, Eve. Of you mentioned that Dungeon Mastery, Delicious in Dungeon, is one of your favorite anime, and now I'm realizing, okay, so it doesn't all come back to D&D, but just the general fantasy enjoyment here, seeing some consistencies in. For those who haven't seen Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon, it's a story about folks going to what on its surface is a relatively stereotypical fantasy dungeon, and the big focus and challenge that they have, at least at the start of the story, is, okay, if we're going to be going on this extended expedition into the dungeon, it's difficult to carry a lot of food, and eventually you run out and have to go up. And so their answer is, let's eat monsters. Let's figure out how to prepare, cook, and just, all right, to what degree are monsters like, quote-unquote, normal animals? And then obviously the story gets a lot more intense from there. It isn't just a cooking show. That would definitely be underselling it. But that the world building in that show is very detailed, that everything about the different monsters and how they can be prepared as food and the recipes all have a lot of thought, and then that world building ends up coming into play in a lot of other ways as well. I've only seen the anime. I know the manga has been going a while longer. Did you read Dungeon Meshi before there was the anime, or did you get into it with the anime?
With the anime, I am not a huge reader. I don't read very much. But yeah, I got really into it with the anime. One of my favorites from this past year for sure.
Yeah, and I'm very much the same, that I don't read much manga or light novels. I enjoy seeing things, in color, in motion, with music and voice acting, and that for me, reveals, twists, and big plot moments are something that I can really only get the high of the first time. That, re-experiencing things, it's not like there's zero enjoyment, but for me, it's just a lot more special and a lot more impactful if it has music, motion, color, and everything. So even if I hear about series that are really good, if I hear that there's going to be an anime, I will usually just not read it and wait for it to actually air. And I've gotten pretty good at avoiding spoilers, actually. I remained unspoiled for Attack on Titan. There are several others as well that are even airing, and I've figured out how to not get spoiled for the most part.
Yeah, no, same here. I have dyslexia, so reading is quite difficult for me, which is kind of also where I found my love of podcasts, and because I love consuming this kind of content. It's just hard for me to sit down and read a book specifically. But yeah, anime and this past year has just been so good. With Dungeon Meshi and Frieren, like those two have really bumped their way into my top anime of all time. They're so good. If you haven't watched Frieren yet,
go watch Frieren, folks.
You have
it's really good.
Have to. It's such a good anime.
That was one that every season I'll go through with some friends and we'll, read the synopses of different shows and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch that one. And that, actually, later this weekend, I have, I'm going to be watching just a bunch of episode 1s with friends that we always just have sort of a seasonal premiere
Ooh.
party, that we don't meet up every single week to keep up with everything we watch in the premiere party, but we'll just shotgun 10, 15 episode 1s from series that have just premiered and be like,
That's so
all right, what'd you
cool.
think?
What
Is
a
this
good
one that you're going to
idea.
keep up with? Okay, I didn't like that one. You seem to enjoy it. Let me know after 3 episodes if it's something I should come back
Mm.
to. And it's just a fun night.
Oh, that's
But
such a great idea.
but Free Run, I didn't see episode 1 of, and then it was seeing it just people posting about it and
Just
1 or
blow
2
up.
reviews that I was like, oh, I've missed something. I need to, apparently
have
I
to
need
get
to get
on
on this.
this.
And fortunately, I hopped in pretty early on. There was only like 3 or 4 episodes in, and
Mhm.
then it was like, oh, yep, I understand. I understand. And I started watching the Japanese, but then later watched the dub. And
really?
one, just dubs have come so far in the past
Oh,
15
yeah.
years that nowadays bad dubs are the exception, not the rule. That the vast majority, 95% are like baseline very good. Some are great, some are medium, but there's just, it used to be, all right, it's a 50-50 of it's good, and then 50% is just going to be not good, not watchable. But I actually really liked the Free Ren dub. I thought it was really
Really?
strong. I enjoyed the sub as well. That I don't think I've ever seen a Japanese performance that I just didn't care for.
Yeah, yeah.
But that even for me as someone who has gotten really good at reading subtitles while watching, that if I'm able to find a strong dub, that not having to spend even that fragment of mental energy with split attention, I do enjoy a good dub if I can find one, and I actually really did like Free Rens.
I heard good things about it. I'm definitely a subtitle versus dub person. I prefer the Japanese with subtitles, but there are some anime that, some classic anime I don't think I can watch non-dubbed, like Full Metal. Like I can't watch it.
The Full Metal Alchemist, Cowboy Bebop is sort of the gold standard of nobody
Yes.
watches the original Japanese. I'm sure that it was wonderful. I'm sure that the performers were amazing, but the dub cast is so iconic here in the West.
Yeah.
But I'd say even now, probably 80-90% of what I watch is subtitled, because I do watch seasonally, in that if it's not a simuldub, I'm just gonna watch the one that's available first, and that's gonna be the subtitled version. Free Ren was a simuldub, or it may have been like 1 or 2 weeks delayed, and if I find a good dub, I'll wait that long. But if it's delayed with any significant amount, I'm just gonna watch the subtitles.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's Kitsune Pilot mentions Ghost Stories. Ah, yes. The first time I saw Ghost
classic.
Stories, I thought that it was a fan dub. I thought it was like an abridged series.
It might
I
as
was saying,
well have
oh,
been.
this is funny, guys. Where'd you find this abridged series? No, this is the
Nope.
actual thing. This is the box. Wait, that's the actual DVD?
Oh yeah.
Somebody published, oh gosh, I recognize his voice. That's, and just sort of the realization that this production
really
got
didn't
out the
care.
door was jarring.
I think the story was something along the lines of like, the show isn't very good. You guys can just kind of do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
that they just picked it up for cheap because, licensing
Yeah.
fees, that the amount that it costs a studio to license one episode of Full Metal Alchemist is probably going to be 4, 5, 6 episodes for random, not super anticipated rom-com series. So sometimes studios just pick these up on the cheap and it's like, all right, it's sort of a penny stock. Let's put in what we can into this. And that, the story I've heard is very similar, that they just, the licensor, which usually licensors are very particular, and this one just wasn't. And they just went wild.
I love that. It's such a cult classic now.
Yeah, it's something that would almost certainly never happen today.
No.
Just a, it is such a product of its time, one in terms of like actual production and also admittedly some of the jokes.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how well it holds up, but I'm sure there's
I'm
probably
sure there's a
some.
handful of jokes, and I'm sure there's a
Uh,
handful of jokes that are still just fine. But I know
yeah.
that as things go, taste and sensibilities change as they should.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that it's something I think everyone should see once. I don't think you
Yeah.
need to see it more than once, but you should see it once.
It's a great thing. It's the time to watch it. It's ghost stories. It's
Yeah,
spooky month.
that's the one to watch. All right, Halloween, just get some friends, get some drinks, and
Oh
just
yeah.
put it on.
Oh man.
Are there any shows from this past season? Because I was mentioning we're just now starting the fall 2024 season, so a bunch of premieres are happening.
Yeah.
But we also just had a bunch of finales. Anything that just wrapped up that you were really into?
Honestly, the summer line of anime kind of let me down. I really wasn't interested in most things that were new and airing. I can't think of anything I was really watching before, but I've been enjoying Dan,
Mm,
which just started releasing.
yes, I watched
Um,
the first 2 episodes of that last night, and I went in
yeah,
not knowing anything, and I can entirely see why it was anticipated. But also, wow, going into that one blind, that was a strong cup of
crazy.
tea.
Oh yeah, well it's off the walls crazy, but I think it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but if you've watched a lot of anime, same with like Frieren is like I had we were talking about Frieren in our chat and there's some new anime watchers that were like, there's not enough like combat, there's not enough like intensity, which is totally fine, but if you've watched a lot of anime, I think it's so different and intriguing to have something more slow paced.
Yeah.
And then the opposite of that is something like Dan, where it's just crazy, like wacky, like insanity, where you're not supposed to understand everything. Where it's like this might not mesh with some people, but for the ones that it does, it's really gonna hit. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what it's doing for me. So I'm enjoying that one. I'm watching Vox Machina, which I don't know if really counts, but that's the other show I'm watching. I was recommended by Poilet, my mod in chat, to start watching. What is it? Wisteria
Oh, Wand and
Wand and
Sword.
Sword. Yeah, and
I
I
did
think
see that one last season.
yeah, I'm like 5 episodes into that now, and I am enjoying it. It's a
Yeah.
cute little anime.
It's not an all-timer for me. I wouldn't even,
No,
say like top of the year, but it is a perfectly serviceable combat
exactly.
shonen anime that
Justice for
uh
the 7 out of 10 anime,
yeah, that
it's
just
perfectly fine and I
yeah.
am enjoying it.
Sometimes you want something just that hits the tropes. The
Yeah,
animation is gorgeous.
it's really pretty.
It's got a good soundtrack. The characters are a little bit archetypical, but to be
Yeah.
fair, that's usually where your combat shonens are going to start, and that
Mhm.
I look at that and say that's probably going to be the next Black Clover. It's not. I don't think it's going to take the world by
Mm.
storm, but I think it's
Yeah.
going to have a pretty long run ahead of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've been enjoying that. And then besides Dungeon Meshi and Frieren, Apothecary Diaries was another huge anime which I
That's one of the ones I
love.
missed last year that
You
I've
gotta
I've only
watch
heard
it.
good things about it,
It's
and
so good.
that it also just sounds like it's a show that I would like. That I like
Mhm.
shows with lots of talking. I like ones that
Oh yeah.
have intrigue, and everything I've heard about Apothecary
So
Diaries
good.
tells me that's it. So it for whatever reason just went under my radar. It was one of those cases where I read the synopsis and it's like, oh, that sounds fine, and whereas I
Mhm.
saw things about Freerun pretty quickly, I didn't hear about Apothecary Diaries until really
Yeah.
late in the season. It feels like it was by the end of its first season, it was big, but it didn't feel like it was
Yeah.
big out of the gate, and so I
Yeah.
just missed it, and I haven't taken the time to go back and watch it, but I know I need to. Sometime before season 2, I will watch it.
Mhm. I would recommend it. It's a very refreshing female protag, and a really great story. There's a lot of mystery and strategy and it's just such a great story. I'm excited for the next season of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Overall,
Yeah.
Ghost mentions Black Clover is good, but it has a 25 episode test phase. That's a bit much for me.
Yeah, I've never watched Black Clover. I know of the cultural significance, but
yeah, same here. That I remember hearing about its release, and it didn't seem like it really took off very quickly. But actually, now that I think about Ghost's comment, that yeah, it was season 2 or 3 after about what 25 episodes would be. Suddenly, I'm seeing it everywhere, and that there's a lot of big promotions for it, and that there's a lot of cosplayers for it, and I realize, I guess that show did well. How about that?
I guess it did well. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I know about it through like the cosplay scene specifically because a lot of people cosplay from it. But I've never watched it myself. It's like a battle anime, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that. Shonen battle something.
Do you have any all-time favorite shows that you think are really underrated? What is the show that not enough people have seen that you're just trying to get in front of more people?
Oh, that's a really great question. Maybe it's not as... It's probably more well-known these days, but what's the title of it? It's about a scientist who time travels.
Steins Gate.
Steins Gate, yes. Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero. The stories are so good, and the characters are so good, and I feel like not enough people have watched it.
Steins Gate is one of those that I will say people should watch the dub for.
Yeah, the dub of that is really good.
Phenomenal.
I think I watched that fully dubbed as well, yeah.
And very, very good choice. It's definitely up there. I know that I feel like the people that have seen it almost universally like it. It's not very polarizing once you've seen it. But it's just offbeat enough that it's still... I don't disagree with you that it still feels more niche than it should be, but it's also not a complete unknown. But also, gosh, I think it came out like 10 years ago now, which is really weird.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Boy, 86, good taste.
I have like more niche anime that I'm a fan of, but I can't recommend to everybody because I know it wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea. But an anime I really like and a manga actually is Paradise Kiss.
Haven't seen that one. Have heard of it.
I don't think you would like it. Or I would assume not, at least. It's about like a girl growing up and going through changes and also being a model and fashion designer at the same time. It's very like for the girls, I would say. But oh man, like such a good anime, such a good story. Probably doesn't hold up. It probably doesn't hold up as well these days, but that was
only 12 episodes, aired in 2005.
Yeah. That's like a more niche one. Maybe the most niche one I could recommend to people, maybe, but I really don't know if it would be everyone's cup of tea, honestly.
That's the problem. There's so much good stuff, and so much more anime is getting licensed now than ever before, and so much more is being made that if you go back and look at, 2005, for example, how many new shows aired in fall 2005, and it was probably 25, 30 shows, which is certainly nothing to scoff at, but we have basically double that nowadays.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many other shows I would recommend over that show to people these days.
And as with anything, some shows are better than others. There's numerically more not so great shows getting made, but numerically there's also more really good shows being made than ever before. And that, especially here in the West, it's no longer, all right, we are scraping and hoping to find things. We're hoping that things get licensed, maybe dubbed some 1-2 years after being released in Japan. Now we're getting same-day subtitles, sometimes same-day dubs, or 1-2 week delayed dubs, and that
Being a
90% of things are licensed and legally watchable, and that it's an embarrassment of riches. There's so much stuff, and it's just
for
not
real.
possible to keep up with everything anymore.
Crunchyroll is so lovely to have these days. I remember the days of acquiring anime in not a so lovely way in high school on
My general
some
opinion
sketchy
is
sites.
if there is no legal way for me to support the creator, that I want to support things legally whenever possible, because I know a lot of work goes into it, both on the Japanese side and on the US side, even if there's no dubbing, that the folks who are doing the licensing, doing the subtitling, website servers aren't cheap, that I do want to support the industry where I can, but that if there's no way to support the industry, as there wasn't back in the day, there just wasn't an option.
No.
Well, you find things one way or another.
You find the workarounds.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, but I'm so happy to pay for Crunchyroll to have next day subtitled beautiful 1080p anime. Ugh, we're living in luxury now.
Yeah. Was there a particularly, actually I'm going to reverse that question a bit. What was the first anime that you remember watching and being aware that it was anime?
Ooh. There's like a couple answers to this. I definitely grew up watching like Sailor Moon and Pokemon, but those were cartoons to me. That wasn't anime.
That's why I phrased the question that way, because technically the first anime I ever saw would have been Pokemon. And then
exactly.
Yu-Gi-Oh! But at that point in time, it's not registering as anime for me. It's just, this is a cartoon. This is a different thing.
I think it was High School Host Club.
Ooh! Well, one, fantastic
sure.
taste. Oron is amazing, and I desperately, desperately want them to give it the, the Full Metal Brotherhood Fruits Basket, Spice and Wolf manga faithful remake treatment, because the original is amazing. 26 episodes, gold.
Is such a good anime.
But I would also like to see the entirety and the original, that just what they did with Fruits Basket and currently Spice and Wolf. That was one that I really enjoyed, the original, but it sort of ended incomplete. I want the rest of the story. It was so good.
Yeah.
And I feel like it kind of surprises me that they haven't, because it seems like it was very successful and that there are a lot of fans that wanted it. I almost wonder, does the studio just sort of have a glass case that says, in case of emergency, break glass and remake Oron? Do they just know that it's going to print money and that it's their ace in the hole? It's the backup plan of, okay, if we have a couple of bad quarters, here's the safety net. We know that we can do this and it will work. And they're just waiting because they know it is going to do that well, that they're not.
Maybe. I mean, a lot of very famous voice actors all worked on that show as well. So it could be a case of, if you're trying to get all of the original voice actors back for like a remake, it could be quite difficult these days with how popular they are now as well. But
possibly, but I feel like that hasn't stopped them from doing a lot of things as well, and especially since it probably would make money that they would hopefully be able to pay the VAs as well.
I would really love to see another, like a remake of that. That'd be lovely. Other than that, I think I watched that with friends. I think, or maybe with my little sister. But like the first anime I watched all on my own, I think, was Angel Beats.
Ooh.
Which,
so was that one that you found a way to watch it, or I forget if that was ever on broadcast?
Found a way to watch it for sure. What a star! I know it was a crazy intro to anime. I think after that I watched Madoka Magica as well, which was crazy. So I really had quite an intense intro to anime.
Yeah.
But after that, I watched, your Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhoods. I don't know what's the classic one. I never got into Naruto. I feel like I kind of Death Note.
Death Note was the first anime that I watched aware that it was anime, and
Yeah.
that marginal hipster for what it's worth. I watched it before it was dubbed, and then as it was dubbed, I watched it again, and
Oh.
again, very
The
strong
dub is
dub.
so
Dub is so
good.
good.
I rewatched it recently, and honestly, it still
holds
goes
up.
crazy. It holds up like so well.
Like, take a potato chip and eat it aside.
Oh yeah.
All right, that was one slightly goofy moment, and to be fair, it's a very over the top scene and moment, anyways.
Yeah.
So I see how we wound up where.
Context of the show or of that episode, it does actually fit.
Yeah, I see how we
think.
got there. But
I see how we got there. Yeah.
But that line aside, it's so well performed that the characters are very serious. It's it's pretty mature content. The entire concept there is very dark, and that there's a lot of drama and intrigue, and that's the type of performance that, if not done right, can just really miss tonally. And I thought the English cast just was stellar.
Oh yeah. I still really like that anime.
Yeah, that was definitely the first one that I watched knowing it was anime, and sent me down many rabbit hole from there. Madoka, I remember seeing Madoka and not knowing what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Because I saw it after it had finished airing. It was shown to me by a friend. They knew what they were doing to me. They knew what was happening. I did not. But to be honest, I feel like that's the way you have to go. That even nowadays, even though Madoka has made such a name for itself, and everyone's like, oh no, that it's still usually possible that most folks, unless they have gone out of their way to read up on it, won't know why people talk about Madoka with the tones that they talk about Madoka. They just know that people use that tone with it. And so you can still show that to people, and they will not know until it happens.
Yeah, no, when it still hits, for sure. That, yeah, man. What a
and
good
apparently we're getting
another
movie. They're actually finally giving us continuation from Rebellion.
Speaking of things getting a remake or like resurgence, I guess.
Yeah, just seeing the Rebellion movie, I finished it saying, okay, I feel like this isn't the end, that there has to be more, right? But then at the same time, knowing everything we know about the general tone of Madoka, I could see them just saying, yep, that's the end. That's how it ends. That's just the way things go.
Yeah, that's
I am glad
fair.
that we're getting more, though.
Me too. I'm excited for that.
Do I expect a happy end?
No.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I
expect something melancholy.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, melancholy that word will always carry weight of, I can't hear that word without thinking Haruhi Suzumiya.
You know what? I never watched it.
Oh, there's one to watch.
I know the dance.
Yeah, to be fair, that was the intro for me as well, that I saw the Hare Hare Yukai dance before I watched the show.
Again, I know the
highly
cultural
recommend it.
Impact, but
and
not
again,
the
one that I
show.
actually recommend the dub for.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Noted. If we have another not so stellar season of anime, I'll go back and take a look at the classics.
The tricky part about Haruhi is that the episodes were broadcast in a non-chronological order.
Oh, no.
If you get the DVDs or look it up on Crunchyroll or something, it will have it in chronological order.
Okay.
I still think that watching non-chronologically, I don't necessarily want to say it is the better way or that it helps it, that both experiences are very, very enjoyable and they're very different.
I wonder if someone's like put together a list of what is like maybe the proper order to watch.
So the proper order is known, that it's not terribly mysterious, and like I said, Crunchyroll, I think if you go there, that episode 1 is episode 1 chronologically. That I think they go there. At the very least, I know the DVDs were always chronological order. Uh,
This is
I'm
more
just
of
gonna,
just a personal opinion.
yeah, and that if you want to watch in broadcast order, that you can find that on Wikipedia. I'm actually gonna look up Crunchyroll, and I'm curious now, actually, of what the ordering is on Crunchyroll. Like I said, I think it's chronological, but yeah, it's chronological on Crunchyroll.
Mm.
But whether you watch in chronological or in broadcast order, both are very, very enjoyable. The Endless Eight is a thing, and you can decide what you want to do with that when you get to it. But the rest of the series is all very, very good.
Mm. Mm.
What would you say is your favorite just of all time?
Of all time, I always answer Gurren Lagann, Gurren Lagann for this. I think that's a really solid anime.
Yeah, that's such a fun one.
So good. The characters are so good in that anime.
Remember episodes, I think it was like 9 through 12, that there was a 3-episode span. Things get a little bit tough because things get a little bit mopey, but just rewatching those episodes, it's better,
anime,
and then just it's really, really good.
I think
so
I can easily recommend that to people as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that anime.
Oh, gosh.
And what is yours?
Mine is Code Geass.
Again, one I haven't watched, but again, I know the cultural significance. I know I should watch it one of these days. Does it hold up, you think, though?
Yeah, I think it actually holds up really, really well. That it has, I don't think it should be everyone's favorite show, but I think that it is a show that the vast majority of people can enjoy. That it has, mech action, it has drama, that there, if you like, from the things that I hear about Apothecary Diaries, that for a while, and even now to an extent, people compare Code Geass a lot to Death Note. It is that type of cerebral intrigue and maneuvering, but also throw in Gundam combat.
Okay,
and also
like
throw in
Gundam.
politics.
I like a little Gundam and a little politics.
Game of Thrones stuff.
I feel like if you're bringing up Gundam, politics kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, I would say I should rephrase. When I say politics, I mean like Game of Thrones politics.
Okay,
not
interesting.
It is not quite the. It's not as thoughtful as Gundam can be about things. That this is much more the Game of Thrones politicking, political intrigue type of politics.
I need to watch it. It's one of those I need to get around to. But there's been so many good anime. It's been hard to make time for the older ones these days.
Yeah. That we just everyone has their list, and that goes for games, movies.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Just anime, everything, and that for every item that you cross off of your list, 2 to 3 more get added.
Exactly, exactly. Oh man, have you watched one of the newer Gundam animes?
I need to finish Witch from Mercury, but I really enjoyed it. And
that's the one I just finished, and it was amazing.
Well, as I found out halfway through the first season, I was like, wow, I am loving this. This is like, I haven't been this hyped for a show almost since Code Geass, and then I look and I realize it's the same writer.
Oh, well, that'll do her.
Well, I'm consistent. Cool.
At least you're consistent. That's so funny.
I've kept it on the back burner because I know I'm going to get around to it, and I know I want to. I saw all of season 1, saw half of season 2, and then just got super busy.
Yeah, it definitely slows down a bit, kind of the same way. But I mean, that makes me more interested in Code Geass because I loved the writing in that one. So that makes me even more intrigued to try and.
Code Geass is definitely one that I suggest the dub for. That the
oh really?
The subtitle, the Japanese cast, also phenomenal, but there's a lot of talking, and that when there's a lot of talking with the action, like I was saying earlier, just not having to spend that little bit of extra mental effort with subtitles, and also the performances are just really solid across the board.
Noted. Big noted.
You were mentioning sort of wrapping back to Black Clover and other things that you were aware of them from cosplay, and I know that you actually did cosplay for a while yourself.
Yeah.
As a cosplayer, did you have a specialty? Like, were you really good at styling wigs, or did you know how to get the ruffles in a dress just right? Was there anything that you felt you were really good at?
Definitely not those two things. But I would say probably like foam work and armor building / like painting them specifically, as well as I think I'm pretty okay at makeup, so doing the makeup for characters as well. I think I was pretty good at styling like the costume all together, or like adding embellishments to it. I do a little bit of sewing, but I wouldn't say I'm like the best, and I did style all of my wigs, but I also wouldn't say I'm the best at that either. So probably, yeah, like armor building. That was super fun.
Any particular types of armor that you enjoyed? That was it, sort of Knights medieval type of armor, or more modern mech? Well, not mech armor, but sort of like futuristic soldier style armor, for lack of a better term.
It's neither of those kinds of things. I think it's more so the like small details that have little armor pieces, kind of like my hip armor things
okay.
I have here. The like intricate,
like
small
the sort of
parts.
Yeah, the filigree types of embellishments, and
like
that
when a small, I feel like a small little armor piece really helps a costume come together. I did pieces like that for, oh my gosh, what's her name? Lusamine from Pokemon, Lily's mother.
Oh yeah.
I've cosplayed her, and she has these diamonds all over her outfits that I made out of like a foam. It was all foam and WOBBLER, which is like a thermoplastic that you heat and like mold. And making those pieces was really like gratifying. And I've also done Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, her like little kid outfit. She has like small armor pieces, but they're all, I mean, it's Dragon Ball. If you know anything about Dragon Ball, it's very like simple pieces, but embellishing that a little bit more and making it look super clean was really fun.
Yeah.
Both really great builds. Yeah, Sun and Moon. Yeah, man, Sun and Moon. My opinion, the best Pokemon anime.
Ooh, the best anime. Okay, because
out of all the seasons, Sun and Moon, man, what a great anime.
I fell off of the anime after the 3rd generation. I still play all the games, at least one mainline per generation. Not all the spin-offs, but a fair number of them that I really enjoyed. Legends Arceus. I'm very much looking forward to Legends ZA. Sun and Moon for a while was my travel game. That it was just, I had my 3DS in my backpack, and that I would, anytime I go on a plane to visit places that, 2-3 hour flight, and that was the game that I would be playing just to pass the time. So I actually played that game. It took me a bit over 2 years, start to finish, just because it was in those bite-sized chunks, and that I beat subsequent generations before I beat Sun and Moon, and it's one of the only games I've ever actually experienced like that, and I don't think I would ever do that again with a Pokemon game, but it sort of became a thing of, okay, I've gone this far with it in this way, I want to kind of commit to the bit at this point, that I do enjoy Pokemon, that for some reason, I was able to hold back from playing it in other circumstances, that I kept that as my travel game.
That's a great travel. I think I played it very similarly. It's great for long travel things. I was that and Animal Crossing New Leaf for me.
Yes.
On the DS, yeah. Those were huge like comfort and travel games for me. Yeah, I love the Pokemon series.
Yeah, that gosh, is it? They're getting towards gonna be Gen 10 whenever
I
that happens, and it's
know.
just as someone who grew up with Pokemon, it's so cool seeing. And I will agree with the general sentiment that Scarlet and Violet was rough around the edges graphically. The gameplay was great. That for all the bugs and visual things that you see in the overworld, I don't think I've ever seen anybody hit a crash in battle. That battle system, for in technicality, that's where I would expect the most problems. That there's so many variables, just abilities, attacks, typing, status conditions. Statistically, the infinite number of combinations that you'd have there, the odds of something hitting an error, causing a crash, never seen it happen. There's all the crazy stuff in the overworld, but the battle system is entirely sound.
Clean. Yeah, that's very fair. I personally haven't really enjoyed a lot of the newer Pokemon games. I also agree Arceus was one of the better ones that has come out in recent years, but I am a believer that I think the last good one they did was Ultra Sapphire.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
Yeah,
and like I said, even though the battle system in Scarlet Violet was very impressively cohesive, and I thought the gameplay there is as fun as ever, I do agree with most folks that we should. I would hope that, given how much money Pokemon makes, it is the highest grossing multimedia franchise in history by orders of tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah. Maybe Game Freak will figure out how to make a 3D game one of these days.
It seems like the backlash for Scarlet Violet may have finally been enough to move the needle. They've made comments of saying we plan to slow things down.
I hope so. I
hope
so.
Because it's going to be Generation 10. I feel like they need to. Pokemon.
They gotta blow it out of the water. They have to.
And especially after Scarlet Violet, that Pokemon, for better or worse, I think is too big to fail. That the Scarlet Violet opening weekend or release weekend was the highest console exclusive release in history. Over 10 million units release weekend. So in some ways, you look at it and say, all right, I don't know if the Pokemon company is necessarily incentivized to change anything when they're making this much money anyway.
Yeah.
I will remain cautiously optimistic that they won't just be completely complacent.
Yeah.
And that
I feel like like even though it did have a huge opening weekend and it did well statistically, I feel like the community
there was enough of a
sentiment
PR backlash that even if it's not necessarily
really
finances,
bad. that exactly.
They felt it, hopefully.
From that game, I also bought that like day one, and I will never buy another Pokemon game day one after I think Scarlet and Violet was horrible.
It's
really,
going to be
really
interesting
bad.
to see if that happens, or rather, if the next one comes out and word gets around that it's not good, and that we realize, the release day sales weren't as high, and that then things tank from there. Because I know there's a number of people who are of your mindset now that it's okay, I'm gonna not necessarily wait on it for months on end, but I'm not gonna pre-order it, and I'm gonna wait a week. And if all signs are good, I'm going to pick it up a week after release, and it'll still be really quick, and I hope to pick it up a week after release, but that I'm not going to do it day one.
Yeah. Man, like, I mean, as you could tell, I'm like a pretty big Pokemon fan, but when you stream it, it's a whole different can of worms.
Oh, I imagine.
Because people are intense about Pokemon, so I find I can't even stream it, really. And enjoy it fully, because it's someone's like fault, really. It's just people being very passionate about what they like, but it's like when I make a choice that maybe isn't like strategically
it's not
the
that's
best.
not necessarily optimal.
Not optimal. I just like my cute Pokemon on my cute little team.
I know this Pokemon is low tier. I know it's not competitive.
Exactly.
They look
it makes
cool.
it hard to stream. So that's another factor for me. It's like, well, I don't need to get it day one because there's other games that take a higher priority, like that would do better on the channel and for me.
Yeah.
But I do really love Pokemon. I would like never talk about that really on stream. I don't even know if chat knows that I've cosplayed from it before, but yeah, I do have a little love in my heart for Pokemon.
And you mentioned that the Sun and Moon anime in particular wasn't even that the game was your favorite, but that the anime was your favorite. So
it's really good.
What does the Sun and Moon anime do that is particularly different? I recall, if memory serves, that the art style for that one was pretty divergent from the others, and that for the Alolan region, I looked at that and said, that's not the Ash I grew up with, but I feel like thematically, to do that in that region, just it didn't feel wrong. Certainly different, but it didn't feel wrong, and I like that they sort of wound back when they went away from Alola, because while I think it fit there, I don't think it would have fit as a universal design, but it's been cool to see those iterations over the years.
That's exactly how I feel as well. Like, it's very bright, colorful, cheerful, tropical. It really fit the theming. The art style, I mean, personally, I just really liked it. I thought it was really beautiful. The story is really good. I cried multiple times watching this anime, like the Pokemon. Like, it was very emotional.
One of the big complaints people have had about the games for Sun and Moon is that there was too much stoppage for the plot, because there was a lot of dialogue and a lot of character stuff. So at the same time, I'm not shocked to hear that when put into just a non-game medium, that a passive medium, that it then translates very well, because they have all this writing, they have these characters established that then they can flesh out even more, and it doesn't feel like it's interrupting or getting in the way of gameplay, because it's not that it's just the anime. So they, I guess, just had more to work with there.
Yeah. Oh man. And like Team Rocket also has obviously a presence in the anime, but they go way more in depth on their stories, and it's really refreshing. It's just a very, very refreshing take on Pokemon. I would highly suggest, if you like Pokemon, to watch Sun and Moon, because it is very, very good. It's a great like throw on in the morning and eat some breakfast, like your Saturday morning cartoons. But like it's a very casual, enjoyable viewing. Yeah, just high praise for that anime. I think the one before it too, I can't remember what it's called.
Black and White before it, I think, right?
Well, yeah, Black and White is also very good. I enjoyed that a lot too. That anime series was very good. Those two, great Pokemon anime.
I was more upset to hear that they wrote off Team Rocket than hearing that they wrote off Ash.
Yeah, I feel like Ash moving on makes a lot of sense, but Team Rocket, well, I guess if Ash is leaving, I guess it makes sense that maybe they do too, but
I feel like, okay,
do they
Ash
have
moves on.
Sorry.
No, sorry, you go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I haven't really kept up with the new anime. I don't know if they still have like Team Rocket, but it's new characters or something, or if they've just like completely got rid of Team Rocket. Because I feel like maybe if Ash moves on and like Team Rocket's whole thing is that they're after Ash's Pikachu, that they would move on too. But if they don't have any Team Rocket presence anymore, that seems a little weird, because it's like a big global organization.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the new one. From what I understand, there's no Team Rocket. There's naturally going to be an antagonist.
Yeah.
But that it's not Team Rocket, and that I'm glad that Ash was finally allowed to grow up and actually be champion and stay champion.
Yeah.
Also, overall, Ghost is correct that it was actually X and
Yeah,
Y
X and
before,
Y.
not Black and White. Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, X and Y is lovely as well.
But that I was kind of surprised because I was thinking what you were thinking of, well, it's a global organization, and also, all right, maybe Jesse James and Meowth found a new target that, all right, with Ash no longer venturing around, that they find some new thing, or maybe we get, whether it be Butch and Cassidy, or just let's get our new bumbling crew. And from what
they
gathered,
have a lot of new ones, right? With the new games, they have like the grunts or whatever.
But all those are so regional, I feel.
Yeah, they're no Team Rocket.
Still, that I'm just, growing up with Pokemon, I know things are going to change. Frankly, I was more shocked that Ash lasted as long as he did. I thought they were going to go sort of the Yu-Gi-Oh route, where each generation they have a new protagonist. And I certainly don't blame them for saying, all right, maybe it's time to try a new main character. And I'm kind of interested to see if they are going to now have the Yu-Gi-Oh route of every generation will be a new protagonist, or are these new ones going to be in it for their own long haul? Not sure, but I'm just happy that kids nowadays get to grow up with Pokemon like we did.
Yeah, that's so true. Whole new generation.
Yeah, and just back in the day, they said Pokemon was going to be a fad. It was a fad. It wasn't going to last. Biggest multimedia franchise in history.
Crazy.
Do you have a favorite Pokemon movie?
Ooh, I don't know the names of all of them off the top of my head.
Don't need to know the names, just what was legendary?
I've only ever seen a couple. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of. It's like the one where the girl dreams something.
3.
I think is it 3?
The one with Entei and the Unknown?
Yeah, I think it's Entei and the Unknown.
Yeah,
that one sticks out to me as kind of a banger.
That one was good. That one was kind of freaky. Like, I've heard people
with
call
all the
that
dark...
one the Silent Hill Pokemon movie.
Yeah, with all the dark anime I grew up on, maybe that's why
Now I'm thinking, it's like, all right, now that we're backtracking, and we see the progression. All right, there was Angel Beats and there was Monica. That, of course, that's the one that you like. It makes sense.
Of course. Makes sense. Yeah, that one sticks out to me.
Overall, Ghost and I share a favorite, Pokemon 2000. The one with Lugia and the legendary birds.
Yeah, is that the one where Ash dies?
No, that's the first one.
That's the first
That's
one.
That's the one with Mewtwo.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that movie, still all-time classic. It's the first Pokemon movie. Still holds up in my opinion. But something about 2000 was just it was just so epic. And that for me as a young kid, just the 4 birds and the big finale and everything always hit really, really hard. I thought it was just so much fun. Not the most emotionally deep of the Pokemon movies, though, I will definitely say that, but it was just a lot of fun.
It doesn't have to be sometimes. Yeah, I remember liking that one as well.
All right. Congratulations, you've been hired by the Pokemon Company to be the director for their next spin-off game for not a mainline title. So you're not designing the new region and the new versions and whatnot, but you've been given an effectively unlimited budget and effectively unlimited access to every existing region, Pokemon, plot device, character, and you can either make a new iteration, new installment on a existing spin-off series, or you can make your own new spin-off game. What would you make? What would you want to see next from the Pokemon Company?
Easily 100% something that slows down, something Stardew Valley-like, I think, in a Pokemon universe would be so fun. I mean, we always see so many side plots in the anime of Pokemon helping out their trainers, doing their daily chores, or like helping out on a farm. I think something Stardew Valley-like, where you own a farm and have Pokemon perform tasks for you, or help out would be super interesting. I also
Didn't they have the
personally
framework for that on, I think it was like, it wasn't Pokemon Channel.
Oh, I
Was
don't
it Pokemon
know.
Ranch? I feel like
I
there was a game on the GameCube that was mostly a storage
Oh, it's before
storage
my
device.
time.
But
I don't know.
but they've never had a proper, like you were describing, sort of Stardew Valley farming sim Pokemon
Mhm.
game. And now that you mention it, I'm kind of shocked they haven't, especially given
Exactly.
the prominence of the farming sim genre on
Yeah.
Nintendo consoles over the past couple years.
Something Stardew Valley, maybe Animal Crossing like. Specifically, I was always a huge fan of the like beauty contests in
Oh,
Pokemon.
yeah!
I would love to see something that focuses more on the competition that isn't just fighting and
Mm,
is more like your Pokemon's talents and like dressing them up in cute costumes. Like, very girly girl of me, but I was always a huge fan of that in the Pokemon games. Yeah, I would love to see the series slow down a little bit. I still think like fighting could work into that as well, but sticking to like a farming kind of genre for the games, I think would work really perfectly.
yeah, that I
Mhm.
could see just a very simple, farming sim ranch type of thing where, you have certain Pokemon who are helping plant the seeds or bring in the harvest. You have maybe a
Yeah.
little bit of fighting on, you have to defend your farm against wild Pokemon,
Ooh.
you have,
Yeah.
foxes and, just like in real life, but it's fox Pokemon or whatever type of wild Pokemon are
Mhm.
be out in the forest that if you don't have Pokemon defending your farm, that your crops are all going to get eaten or destroyed or raided or
Yeah.
something.
Oh my
And
gosh, what a
so
great
you have it
idea.
there, but that you can just have a more natural living world like that. And like you were saying, just the types of
Mhm.
side stories, really actually let your character be an RPG character, not be.
Yeah.
y- We get to customize our
I
player
would
characters
love to
nowadays, but our,
customize
our
them,
player
yeah.
characters never actually get to do anything in terms of emotion or true choice. The
Oh
Pokemon
yeah.
games remain entirely linear.
Yeah, I would. Hey, Game Freak, you can take this. You know what? You could have this
Yep,
idea.
it's a freebie.
If you're listening, that's free from me to you. Please make it a thing. That would be so much fun. Yeah.
That and there's always the dream of, okay, but what if I want to be the villain? I don't think they'll ever let us do that. I
No.
would genuinely be shocked if they let us
I would
be the
love it.
villain. I don't think the Pokemon company's ever going to actually do that.
I don't think so. I think something Stardew Valley like really goes back to why Pokemon was created in the first place, which was that childlike wonder of catching bugs
Yeah.
and being outside in nature. Like, it really lends itself to something like that. So it is very surprising that they haven't, with all of their like Pokemon Sleep and Pokemon Go, that you haven't tried something
We had
like Stardew
Pokemon
Valley.
Snap, which was,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like you're a half step away at that point of just, if you were
Right?
exploring nature,
Yeah.
it is a much slower game. There's no combat. Um, I almost wonder if Nintendo would have considered it too much of a potential competitor to Animal Crossing.
Maybe. I don't know. Like another thing that if you just need to print money, just release another Animal Crossing game. Like, my wallet is yours, Nintendo. Give me another one. I'll pay whatever price. Although I really doubt they're gonna do another Animal Crossing anytime soon, unfortunately.
I wouldn't say. I don't think they're going to release another Animal Crossing anytime soon.
Yeah.
My guess is they will start working on another Animal Crossing in the next 2 to 3 years, planned to release in about 4 or 5.
Yeah, that seems more reasonable. Yeah, I definitely think they won't abandon, or
Yeah,
I hope they
they're
won't.
not gonna stop making Animal Crossing games. It is far too
Yeah.
successful at this point.
I don't
But
know where it goes from here though. I loved Horizons when it came out. I mean, the timing of it, I don't think
oh
we'll
my gosh,
ever
well,
there was During
Animal Crossing
COVID,
was there when the world needed it most.
for real.
That
There were many days I would just wake up and be like, okay,
and
time to play
remember, it
Animal
was supposed
Crossing
to
all
be
day.
released in October 2019. It got delayed.
Really?
It was an
Oh.
accident that it ended up in March of 2020. That wasn't the plan. They delayed
I
it
didn't
by
know
3-4
that.
months to finish the polish. And I, like many people, one of the last things I did before really hunkering down, I picked up my pre-order of Animal Crossing New Horizons from
Yep.
Target, went
Yep.
back to my apartment, started playing, and spent a lot of March and April on there. People had birthdays in Animal Crossing. I had a birthday party in
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. People had graduations in Animal Crossing. People had
I
funerals
was
in
one of
Animal
those
Crossing.
people. Yeah.
For a good 6 months, on Monday evenings with my siblings, that my siblings are not big gamers, but the one thing that all of us play is Animal Crossing. And that it would be every
Aw.
Monday we would, go to everybody's island, check up on all the villagers, and we kept that up, like I said, for about 6 months. And that Animal Crossing actually is indirectly a major part of why VTuber Talk exists. Because amidst
Yeah.
all this, a guy by the name of Gary Whitta, who is a Hollywood writer best known for Star Wars, Rogue One, Book of Eli, and a couple others,
Ooh.
like many folks, was stuck inside, and that Hollywood for a while shut down as well, and he was playing Animal Crossing, and he had a love of late-night talk shows. So he made a late-night talk show set in the basement of his Animal Crossing house, had the skyline background, a desk,
Oh, I think I remember this. Yeah.
and he called it Animal Talking. And he started out just
Yeah.
inviting some friends on who were in, show business. And by the end of it, he was being featured on the front page of Twitch. He had Selena Gomez accidentally reveal that she was going to be releasing a new album.
Oh my
He had
God.
Brie Larson, Josh Gad, Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know it got that big. I
Yeah,
remember the when that first kind of started up.
yeah,
Oh,
because
that's so neat.
the other late night talk shows were scrambling to get their remote set up all done. So I don't normally watch late night talk shows, but I don't recall how. It was probably just a YouTube algorithm thing that I saw that one of the VODs of the episodes, and then it just became appointment viewing for me.
Yeah.
The last episode they had was, funny enough, Halloween 2020, and then about 2 weeks later was when Hololive English debuted. And I happened to tune in to the debuts because a friend had shown me some Hololive clip some 3-4 months before. It was in Japanese, and it was like, okay, that seems fun. Not going to tune into any live streams because, well, it's in Japanese. Here they're doing this thing. Whatever, I'm awake at this hour. I'll tune in for the thing. Fall down that rabbit hole. Fast forward a couple months, and 2021's looking like it's going to be very similar to 2020. I'm now waist deep in the VTuber rabbit hole. I don't want to be a VTuber, but I'm bored. I have too much time on my hands, and I'm open to doing something with content creation. And my mind goes to Animal Talking. And I think, what if I did a VTuber talk show? You will notice that to your left, every talk show set has plants. There's a leaf on the plant near your tail that has a little chunk out of it. That is a deliberate Animal Crossing reference that I asked the artist who did this background. It was like, one of the leaves have a small hole in it. That's the Animal Crossing reference.
That like makes me emotional. That's so sweet. Oh, I love that. That's so cute. What a good idea. That's
So yeah,
that's so,
I like Animal
love
Crossing
that.
a lot, and I can't say it was entirely responsible for all this, but it was one of the major dominoes in that chain.
One of the contributors. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I have such lovely memories of Animal Crossing. I was finishing up my degree in 2020. It was my 4th year of college. So in illustration, you usually in the program I was in, you work that entire year on a final show. And it got canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Animal Crossing really means a lot to me because we ended up hosting, even though it was like a silly little thing, like we hosted an Animal Crossing art show because you can upload your artworks.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so everyone uploaded their art that would have been part of the art show.
You have a gallery on an island.
We had a little gallery. We had someone like make the t-shirts with our school name on it. Like, it was very sweet.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So good memories from that.
Was this something that happened like on a full class level, or was this a smaller group of friends?
It was a pretty big class level. I mean, the school maybe only had like per year like 80 students, maybe less than that.
So did the faculty know about this?
I think so. Yeah, we're pretty close with our faculty. I think we invited a couple. Yeah, I think it was maybe a class of 50 or 60. And we had maybe, I mean, obviously you can only have how many people on an island?
Yeah, only like 8 people on the island at a time, but
yeah, but there were like maybe 20 people.
Yeah, 20... and that you can set up potentially art from all 50, 60 folks.
Exactly.
And then have the folks on the island sort of, video share with whatever you need, and that you go on this guided tour of the island gallery.
Exactly. Yeah, we didn't have everyone come, but everyone like submitted some of their artwork so we could send photos in the Discord later and stuff.
Oh,
it was super
cool.
sweet.
I love that.
Yeah. Man. Crazy times.
That's one of the few, like, I've heard of so many different things being done in Animal Crossing during that time. I hadn't heard of something quite like that before, but as soon as you started explaining, I was like, oh, wait, that works so perfectly.
Right?
That's so easy. That's so good. And that, I agree with most folks in that villager dialogue in New Horizons was a little bit lacking compared
100%.
to other installations, but like, all right, just go back and fix that. Just, you could give me basically New Horizons 2 and just put more effort into the dialogue and a couple of quality of life things. I want to be able to mass craft. I don't need to be doing it one item at a time. Maybe a bit more than one pixel at a time for island modifications.
Yes, I was just gonna say.
But past that, it was just a solid game. It was everything I wanted from Animal Crossing. I didn't even do the happy home designer stuff, but I hear that was good for those who enjoyed it.
Yeah. I loved that. It was super fun. That's the thing, is like I often find myself wanting to go back and replay it and start again, because so much of the fun of Animal Crossing is starting from zero and collecting and getting all of the materials and decorating everything just right. But I think a lot of the magic of that game was the time that it came out, and I feel like it wouldn't quite hit as well the second time around.
Yeah, and there's certainly a certain amount of wonder of just the first time you accomplish these things or the first time you find these things, whereas I don't think I've ever replayed an Animal Crossing game that it's something that I will sink a good chunk of months into, and I definitely sank more time into New Horizons than any other, and I've played since the GameCube. But that I don't think I'd be able to go back and enjoy it. But as soon as you release a new one, and it doesn't need to be a huge overhaul, that, just a little bit here and there to make sure it feels fresh, and I'm going to be all in for another couple of months.
Oh yeah, I'm so there. If they release another one, I hope another on a new console. Ugh.
Because think about it, we've now had several Pokemon games release in what I would call the VTuber era. That, yes, VTubers were a thing in 2020 when New Horizons was new, but obviously to a much smaller extent. Think about all the things that VTubers are going to do once we have a new Animal Crossing. That first off, the player character designs, that they're going to make it look like their models, and they can do that really well.
Oh, yeah.
But then just the types of collabs that you'll have people do just on different islands, or I think it's going to be very interesting to see what folks do when inevitably, eventually, we get a new Animal Crossing game, because I'm sure it will be one of those things where, sometimes you see everyone's playing the new game for
Oh
a
yeah.
couple weeks. I think it's going to be that for Animal Crossing when we get it.
Oh, I will no life the hell out of that game if I'm streaming and it comes out. Don't talk to me. You won't be able to reach me.
Or no,
I am
it's
busy.
yeah. If you want to talk to me, come to my island.
Exactly. I'll schedule you in for an appointment
Yes.
at my island.
So many hours spent in Animal Crossing. Just, well, like I said, it was there when the world needed it most.
100%.
Now I'm trying to figure out how did we even get there? Because there was cosplay.
Talking about cosplay, and I'm saying how I cosplayed from Pokemon, and we got into whole.
And then
Pokemon,
it was into Pokemon, then it was to Animal Crossing.
then-
Oh yes, because that you were talking about the Pokemon farming sim. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do still want a Pokemon farming sim. That would be very good if they could
know.
make that. That'd be neat.
I would love that.
Rewinding a bit, along with cosplay, that it involves costuming, wouldn't be, quote unquote, traditional cosplay, but you also were really, or I should say are really into idols in that you did live idol performances once upon a time.
Yeah.
Do you remember the
I,
first idol you ever saw?
Ooh. First idols I ever saw. Man, I mean, I think, well, VTubing is very rooted in idol culture.
Yeah.
So I've watched a lot of idol stuff related. Probably, oh man. I mean, Vocaloid if it counts, I guess.
I'd
Like
count that, yeah.
Miku. Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching a lot of Hatsune Miku. But there's a lot of J-pop idols. I watched and K-pop with all of that as well. Can't think of the name, but yeah, no, I've always really liked idols. I think they're really hardworking and really cool with all the different costumes, and it takes a lot of practice to sing and dance at the same time. And I did it for a couple of years there. Being invited to Canadian conventions as a group performance, which was super fun. Yeah.
Do you have any, whether it be groups or just individual songs when it comes to idols?
Specifically, like, I have a lot of love in my heart for Love Live. If you know the anime. Yeah, so we had a full group performance of Love Live specific dances. So you would be the character, like everyone would be a character from that anime and learn the dance together, which was very fun. It was big like friendship bonding time. Fun to get all the costumes that all match together. Yeah, so that was super fun. But honestly, my favorite kinds of dances are, again, Vocaloid dances. I love Vocaloid so much. And honestly, the dances are just the best, in my opinion, versus like anime dances. But yeah, those are always my favorite to learn.
So I'm familiar with both Vocaloid and Love Live. I'm not educated enough to really know what the difference would be in terms of their dances.
With Love Live, I mean, if you've seen the anime, it's just a lot less complicated dancing, I guess. You know, your typical sidestep dancing, very cutesy, like focus on being cute and the like words of the song, whereas Vocaloid dances are much more come from like a much more dance background. Like the people that make these dances are like professional dancers, that popularize like dance covers for each song, so they're much more technical, and in my opinion, more exciting and fun to learn because there is like a level of difficulty
Yeah, I'm thinking about
to
it
them.
now, and like I said, I'm familiar with both, but had never really thought about it that way before.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm actually just sort of racking my brain thinking about different Love Live dances and different Vocaloid things, that there is just a lot more rapid motion in
Yeah.
Vocaloid performances, that they are much more dancey dances, that the Love Live ones do have dancing, but that, like you were saying, that it's a lot more stepping formations,
Yeah.
pseudo
Yes.
audience interaction,
Mm-hmm.
and that I see the appeal to both and how you end up with both styles. But I can also understand definitely that if you are someone who enjoys dancing, that Vocaloid's just much more kinetic.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the big difference is that like they most likely had a couple people in charge of the choreography for
Yeah.
Love Live things, whereas Vocaloid is so much more community based,
Mm,
and choreographed by so many different people all over the world, and then those specific dances get popular and are like kind of considered the dance to go along with the song, but it's not like official. If that makes
yeah.
sense. So it's a lot of different styles of dancing, which makes it always interesting to learn a new dance. Mhm.
Memory serves, there's actually a Vocaloid anime coming out this season.
Is it really? Oh, I didn't know that.
It's this season or next season. But I know I saw a trailer, a promotional animation for it recently. Just double checking now because it was a proper Miku one, and that in the trailer
Proper Miku.
that Miku is still a Vocaloid. That there is no VA for Miku.
Oh, so they.
That
I
it's
mean, yeah,
actually-
that makes
That
sense.
all,
but also
all the other characters in the series are humans and played by humans.
Oh,
but- That basically Miku ends up in our world, and that while she is physical and tangible when she comes to our world, that she still is a Vocaloid. So she speaks as a Vocaloid.
man. That's either gonna be so good or really, really terrible. I hope it's really good, but I can see that going so badly. Miku isekai, like reverse isekai into normal human world.
I'm trying to find it now. I'll find it after the show and send it to you. But
Yeah, I haven't
I've
heard
seen it
anything
around.
about this. Interesting.
and just it's so interesting to think about the. It would be difficult to say that Vocaloid influenced VTubing, but it feels like the very logical predecessor to VTubing. That
Yeah.
you have
No.
what isn't motion capture, but the idea of a virtual idol, the idea
Yeah.
of a character that is making music and that in one way or another isn't a normal human. And obviously, people are still writing the music for Miku. That even if it's not a normal human performer, that there is still the artistry and very human effort behind everything that is Miku. And then taking it one step further, and now you also have, for lack of a better term, not a human piloting Miku, but the concept of now the virtual idol itself is still being portrayed by a human, that there is now that human artistry behind the model, and that I wonder if, in a way, Miku paved the way mentally for VTubers, because it's only really one degree of separation away at that point, whereas if Miku and Vocaloid doesn't exist, is the mental hurdle from a normal content creator to a VTuber without that in-between phase more difficult.
Definitely. I 100% agree with that. I think kind of exactly. Ghost was thinking the exact same thing as I was Kisana Ai, the like official, one of the, if not the official
Yeah.
first VTuber, 100% is inspired by Vocaloid. And I think a lot of VTubers are, and myself included, very inspired by Vocaloid. I definitely think VTubers are closer to idol culture than
I would agree.
Vocaloid.
Yes.
But there's so much to thank Vocaloid for VTubers. Like, I think a lot of 3D things are really inspired by Vocaloid.
Oh, yeah.
Style-wise.
Yeah, and that's part of why I phrased it the not necessarily the work of VTubers, but that the mental acceptance and mental transition for viewers and fans of VTubers, of having that sort of foundation set by Vocaloid, I think
I've
gave a lower barrier to entry there mentally.
Yeah, I've definitely explained to people who don't know anything about VTubing what it is through Vocaloid. Like, if they're anime slash Vocaloid fans and know what a Vocaloid is, I can explain what VTubing is much more easily. If they have that like point of reference.
For people who don't know Vocaloid, do you have a condensed way that you've figured out to explain VTubing to people?
Oh, yeah, actually. I've had the, lovely every family gathering, you go to, and your grandparents are there, and they're like, what do you actually do? And you're like, okay, buckle in. I've condensed it down perfectly in a way where I explain it as, firstly, kind of like this, kind of like a game show or a talk show, but it's in real time and you can interact directly with it, is how I explain like streaming and VTubing. And then like once we get past that hurdle, VTubing is kind of, it is like a mecha pilot. It's kind of a cartoon, like a PNG, a piece of artwork that somebody has separated, and then another person a lot of the time has made move. It's basically just a big puppet that tracks to your facial movements. It's advanced, high-level puppeteering. I'm just a big, my full-time job is to be a puppeteer on the internet. But it makes a lot of sense that way to people.
Yeah, no, that yours is very parallel to my explanation in a lot of ways. And frankly, I find it more difficult to explain streaming than VTubing. That if somebody knows what live streaming is, I feel like that's already half the battle won.
Yeah.
From there, I can get it in 2 sentences, basically. The first thing that I need to do with anybody that I'm trying to explain VTubing to is I need to explain content creation and streaming. And so what I usually will do is just explain streaming and content creation without the VTubing context first. And the way that I approach that is it's live TV. It's live TV, people interacting with an audience, but it's over the internet. And the way that I sort of have the analogy is, like you're saying, talk show, Oprah Winfrey, or that, think of all the comedy shows, filmed in front of a live studio audience. But that it's over the internet. And that at this point in time, most folks already know what streaming is. But if not, if I need to go that foundational, I'll usually explain as it's live TV online. Then for VTubing, if somebody already knows what streaming is, I use comparisons, and I ask, do you know what motion capture is? Most folks nowadays, if you say, do you know what mocap is? Will know it just from Hollywood that,
that makes
Benedict
it sound
Cumberbatch
so
as
much cooler.
Smaug, of just any type of Marvel thing, or just motion capture animation. You know what that is? Yeah. Okay, it's streaming, but with motion capture. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a way better way to say it. Because I've explained it as like, yeah, I'm like a puppet online for people, which definitely like doesn't sound cool at all.
That for me, it's the 2 steps of just explain streaming, then motion capture.
Yeah,
And then
no,
most folks
I'm gonna
know
steal that.
those two concepts independently, and then it's just live streaming with motion capture. It's more complex when you have to break things down, and that if people still don't understand, I go to a couple comparisons, and I think yours of puppets is very good. I would take it one step further and just say Muppets, that, you know, Sesame Street, Big Bird. And yeah, that you're doing episodes of, well, not quite Sesame Street, but that you are doing live performances of that sort. The other one, and this is, I didn't think of this myself. I can't remember where I saw it, but it was someone joking of, oh, who was the first VTuber? And they said this, and I realized, okay, not only are you right, but you may have actually just found the single best way to explain to boomers the quintessential example of a VTuber. The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, the
man behind the curtain.
Man behind the curtain,
projecting the face, motion capture, but it's a guy at what is effectively a computer who you are not seeing, performing for the masses.
True. Wait, that's so accurate. The official first VTuber, not Kizuna Eye, is the Wizard of Oz. That's so funny, but it's actually incredibly accurate. That's really funny. That is a really great way to explain it. That's
And
so funny.
it's just, we aren't at the point where VTubing is what I would call public consciousness. My sort of litmus test is, can you, when you're checking out groceries at the grocery store, would the cashier at the grocery store have heard of it? And the cashier at the grocery store has probably heard of Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
The cashier at the grocery store has probably heard of The Simpsons. They've probably heard of McDonald's.
Yeah.
They've probably heard of football.
It's not so much in the public consciousness.
Might not have heard of VTubing. I'm very confident we're going to get there.
Yeah, especially
not
with
there
Iron
yet,
Mouse
but- oh yeah, no.
being
Holy
like
cow.
absolutely crushing the streaming space.
Iron Mouse has given VTubing its biggest public wins and sort of,
Yeah.
I don't want to say justifications, but if not justification, then the biggest sort of confirmations of legitimacy, perhaps?
Yes.
Of just saying, all right, who is the, this is not the VTuber Awards, at the Streamer Awards. Who's the content creator of the year? Who's the streamer of the year? A VTuber.
VTuber.
Who's
There you
the
go.
highest subscribed creator on Twitch.
Very
a
happy to
VTuber.
have her at the helm of representing VTubers. She's so inspirational.
And just also just what a story for Iron
Yeah,
Mouse. Of
for real.
just, you know, already, you know, she's very fun and charming and entertaining. But then when you hear the lore, so to speak,
The
realize,
lore.
like, holy cow, this girl's not only she's, living the dream, but she's been through it.
Yeah.
And frankly, still going through it.
Yeah.
And just, so happy for her that, that she was able to find VTubing, and that just so many people, VTubing and content creation has changed their lives, and obviously the scale to which her life has been changed is very, very significant, different than others, but the fact of VTubing literally gave her opportunities that just didn't exist for her.
Mm-hmm.
And that, it's very heartwarming, very exciting, and happy to see, and that we are fortunate to have such a good, sort of vanguard and face for the medium.
Yeah. She's lovely.
And just, I say to many folks, we're still in the Wild West of VTubing. That it feels like it's been around for forever.
Yeah.
VTubing's been a thing, like publicly accessible thing, for going on 5, maybe 6 years. If you discovered VTubers today, if this is the first time you've ever seen a VTuber on October 11th, 2024, Central Standard Time,
Mm.
you're still in on the ground floor. If not in on the ground floor, you're on the first or second floor. These are the early days.
For
People,
real.
some folks say, oh, 2021, that was like the golden age and that was the early days. That's only because we have so few days to count right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. VTubing in 10 years, 20 years from now? I can't
Everyone's
imagine.
going to lump the 2020s will be considered the early days. The entire decade will be
yeah.
considered the early days.
We'll be able to say back in my day.
Just,
I mean, there's been so much progress in such a small amount of time.
oh, it's
with
crazy.
the rigging of models, of the accessibility
Mhm.
to different mediums. Like, if you want to become a VTuber these days, oh my god, you have so many resources, so
Yeah.
many free models available to start out with. Like, it's never been easier than it is right now. It's crazy, like, seeing all of the advancements. Like, I remember when VRoid models were
the
like
standard.
the standard and like hard to make.
Mhm.
And now it's
All of the riggers were either Japanese or people trying desperately to learn from Japanese tutorials on YouTube.
It's crazy. PNG tubing is so much more accepted these days.
And also just has so many more tools that it's
So
nowadays you can be a
cool.
PNG tuber, but not just a single image static PNG tuber.
Yeah.
That you
GIF
can do
tubing
anything
is
from
a thing now. Like,
different toggles.
it's so cool.
And
It's so cool. I wish I could skip all of my cringy first phases of being a VTuber and skip right to now, because it would be a lot less cringeworthy. I think all of the model options.
Everyone
that are out
has
there
their
now.
cringe phase.
Yeah, maybe.
Growth
a little
is
bit.
acknowledging that you had a cringe phase.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I always say we couldn't imagine 2 years ago what we would have now in VTubing, and we can't
True.
imagine now what we're going to have in 2 years. That things are still
True.
growing and changing that fast. That things may slow down eventually, but because things are so new and technology really across the board is accelerating so fast that there's so many different things that we can't even think of yet. And the other thing I frequently say is I think that in not 5 years, I think in maybe 10 years, 10 years, maybe a little bit more than that, I think that having a VTuber model will be considered standard for content creators.
Oh,
That, you know, all right, if you're going to be a streamer or a YouTuber or anything at all, that you're going to set up OBS, you're going to make sure you have your alerts, you're going to make sure you have your microphone set up, you're going to make sure that you have VTube Studio downloaded with the generic base model that you bought off of either Booth or some other site. That I don't think everyone's going to have a custom VTuber model. I think having a custom VTuber model will become the minority. I think 25% or less of content creators will have custom VTuber models, and that the difference is going to be the frequency and consistency with which people use their models. I'm waiting for content creators who aren't quote-unquote VTubers to realize you don't need to use your model every day, to realize that you can be a facecam streamer 99 times out of 100, that you can break out the model one day a month. You know, all right, it's really hot where I'm living and my AC is busted. I'm gonna look gross if I have my camera on today. Throw the model on screen. I have
like
a gag where I want to ignore the laws of physics. Throw the model on screen.
I feel like we're starting to see the very beginnings of that with streamers like Skara, or Pokimane tried that at some point.
A couple folks have tried it, and I'm waiting for it to become more mainstream. That I think they're ahead of the curve of just.
I think it's just because it's so rooted in idol culture. It's the idol culture pushing against like people that are not so deep rooted into idol culture of like.
Oh, I completely agree. And
but like it's fun to see. Like I think it's super interesting.
And it's just waiting for people to realize, okay, all this idol culture stuff, they when you get a VTuber model, you do not sign a binding contract that says that you need to do all this stuff and
Yeah, that
adhere
you have
to
to remain
the traditions
anonymous
as they
and
were. That,
yeah.
eh, and I think as that happens, the term VTuber may become obsolete to an
I mean,
extent that when
it's
everyone has a model, but not everybody uses the model the same way, you know, eh, I think the definition will skew a bit more, and I think we may end up with something a bit more generic of,
something else.
oh,
Yeah.
they're a model streamer. They're somebody who has a model, and
Mm.
that's their primary.
I mean, even now, like VTuber is virtual YouTuber, right?
Yeah,
Like
and
I
arguably that became
arguably
completely
that's
obsolete. But
exactly. Like I've never streamed on YouTube before. I am
uh,
100% a Twitch streamer. So,
yeah,
but I still use VTuber as
we might see the term stay the same, but
yeah.
uh, I also wonder if that too is due to the idol culture influence in that a lot of VTubers now, the early adopters, the ones who know the idol culture, are just very, naturally going to cue off of what they see from idol culture, and,
Mhm.
they adopted, along with the term, a lot of those different practices, for better or worse, and
Mhm.
that while I don't think folks who are VTubing right now would be the ones to change the term, I think what would change it is when it hits public consciousness, when it's out
Mm.
of the current VTuber quote-unquote community's control, and that mainstream, will it retain the term VTuber, or will the masses find a more generic universal phrase that we end
Mm.
up then adopting because not due to our own input, but because it has become so widespread that the term is changed for us.
Maybe. I mean, the seeds are being sown right now, like with the HoloLive Dodgers event
Yeah.
that happened. Oh my god, what I would have given to have been there
Yeah, and just
with Guagura on the Jumbotron. Like, it's happening. It's
mm-hmm.
becoming more acceptable. There are like as in places like Japan at least, maybe it's much more
Yeah, I'd
uh
argue that it's public
in the
consciousness in
conscious.
Japan now.
I would say so as well, because like a lot of HoloLive things at least are on like water bottles and more common goods and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Now it's just the
maybe
rest of the world that
I'm
needs
sure
to
the
catch up.
I'm sure the grocery clerks know what they are in Japan and
Yeah,
stuff. So
someone from HoloLive had like a collab with a rice brand? I think that they were actually on the bags of rice.
oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, what's her name? The dog girl is
Korone.
is it Korone? Yeah, she's like the representative for Sonic.
Yeah,
And, like,
that's right.
Sega.
Yeah.
So yeah, huge moves in the VTuber scene for sure.
Yeah, Poilet in chat mentions that the line for
Yeah.
Whole Live merch at the Dodgers game was apparently just obscenely long.
Oh my god.
And the thing is, my guess, I wasn't there. My
Mhm.
guess is that the Dodgers didn't know what they were getting into.
Oh, 100%.
That the Dodgers were like, okay, we're doing this collab, so here's your one vendor stall for your stuff,
Mhm.
and didn't expect or understand the reaction they were going to get. So you have one stall, and when it's that many people, 3-hour long line, that's how that happens. And that it's not that HoloLive was necessarily understaffed or ill prepared, but that they were not given the option or space
Yeah.
to just create more lines. Because at least from the pictures that I saw, it looked like one line, and that's what sort of cued me in. It was like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
one line. Why are there not 5? Why are there not 10?
I would happily stand in line that long.
And that's the thing that
But
apparently a lot
yeah.
of folks did.
Yeah, I'm sure everything got sold out at that. That must have been wild.
Apparently, I heard that shortly after Gura sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game, that they hit a home run or something. It wasn't quite the grimace run that the Mets had earlier in the year, but that there were a couple of folks that sports fans are very superstitious. If a unusual thing
Oh.
happens and then something good happens in the game, they will take to it. Did you
We need
hear
more
about the Grimace?
VTubers.
Did you hear about the Grimace stuff with the Mets earlier in the year?
I feel like I remember
Basically,
something along
the
these lines.
big purple McDonald's mascot Grimace
Yeah.
threw the first pitch for a Mets game. They'd been on a losing streak. After that game, they won like 12 of 15 games or something. That they just went on a huge winning streak, and that a lot of the fans were like, this all started after Grimace threw the opening pitch, and that you had a bunch of people attributing the success to Grimace, and that there was like a mini fandom. So
we need more VTubers and Grimace in baseball, confirmed. They're good omens.
I don't think the Dodgers went on the same type of winning streak, but I know they won that game.
Yeah.
And I heard that there was a home run like very close to the sing of taking me out to the ball game. So
and thank goodness.
Yeah, no, if they had lost that game, I don't know what we would do. That'd be terrible.
Not good for us. I mean, VTubers aren't known for our sports knowledge really, but but I'm glad we got that dub.
yeah. We didn't need it to be a Grimace level run, but I think winning that game was marginally important.
Yes, it really was. That's so funny.
And when Chad mentions being the NBA, because I think it's just a matter of time before we see them in basically every major sport in the West. I know that they've already had appearances in Japan, basically, but the VTubing is here to stay. That much is certain, and it's not a matter of if but when for a lot of these things, in my opinion.
Well, VTubing is just so, I mean, you see it with Iron Mouse, so much more accessible.
Yeah.
In so many ways. It's so much easier to make content, VTubing, because, I mean, I was a content creator, like a real flesh person content creator for quite a few years, and being a cosplayer, you gotta get in full costume, you gotta put on the makeup, you gotta put on the wig, you gotta style everything, you gotta put the money into getting the costume just right. It's a lot of stuff, and then you take one picture and you spend the time editing it and blah 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 blah. And VTubing, you just jump into your silly little OBS scene and you record something quickly and you chop it up and bada bing bada boom, you got a whole video. It's so much more accessible these days. And a lot easier, in my opinion, to create content.
Yeah, and that's certainly the big thing that back when Keys and I was originally starting, needed a studio and $10,000 worth of hardware and specialty software that was either proprietary or very complex, and just the release of VTube Studio. I'm blanking on the name. Was it VC Face? No, Vroid.
VC Face was or is still what a lot of people use, but now we have Wardo. What is it called?
Wardo. And that, like you were saying, just the barrier to entry, the ease of adoption is the big difference. That if you have, it used to be if you had an iPhone. Now it's really if you have any phone with a camera or just a webcam, that you can do this. You can download very simply off Steam. It's not even that you have to go to a specialty software site and get a specific download and make sure you install it properly. That just programs like that are so easily accessible and easy to run. That is a very big deal for getting people into stuff like this. Also, simply having default models in these programs. That VTube Studio comes with 2 or 3 random stock models, and
there's some kitty cats, there's some anime girls.
And just seeing people who don't understand VTubing get in front of a camera or a phone that has VTube Studio or a similar program running, and there's this moment of understanding. There's you sort of like see it clicks in their head, their eyes light up when they realize, oh, that I'm moving the thing. And that just, even without making content, that the visceral understanding from just experiencing the motion tracking for the first time. It doesn't explain everything, but it's a huge shift mentally of just understanding. It's like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. I've let my mom pilot my VTuber model from my phone before, and she did the typical like, ah, so cool, blah 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 blah. You know, it's super cute to see, but like it's fun to be a VTuber. That's the fundamental of it. It's like it's enjoyable. It's interesting, and the barrier to entry for VTubing is more so your own interest in it, I think. Like, if you're interested in learning more of the programs and the technical things that you can learn but isn't necessary, it's all up to how much you want to put into it.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's going to become just a standard tool in the tool belt for content creators. Like I said, even if it's once a month, once a week for when you just don't want to put on makeup or you know, for whatever reason, just that you have that option. And just collabs are easier for VTubers. They look better with VTubers.
Oh my god, yeah. So easy. I mean, the introduction of VNet, like, even that was so recent. And that was, like, a huge, like, cultural shift in VTubing. And that only happened, what, in the past year?
Yeah. And it wasn't too difficult in the past that it would be, all right, you know,
it was annoying,
broadcast it to Discord. Now I'm going to do window capture from Discord.
Yeah.
And it was certainly possible. It's not great. The next big step is going to be cross-platform collab. That if VTube Studio is going to be able to also get something from Warudo or from VRoid, from 3D models, that just the actual ability to get from somewhere else there. And
that would be crazy.
I don't know much about programming, but even I can acknowledge and understand, okay, that's a very difficult thing. That's a big ask. That's not just a small feature. I don't expect that functionality to happen anytime in the next 2 years.
I don't know about VTube Studio doing that, but I mean, we've seen it with Warudo.
But maybe that's an interesting idea.
I think
like
another
third party that none of the actual platforms, but that somebody could develop an ancillary tool of, all right, you can input links, IDs, whatever, from any of the major programs, and now have it centralized in this third-party collab tool platform. That could be the thing.
Like, even spout capture has been a big thing in the past year, and multiple programs use that kind of capture device. So, like, in theory, if you could get some sort of URL that is like a spout capture, and having like PNG tubers, live 2D and 3D all using some sort of spout capture thing, I could see that maybe being a thing in the future.
If there were a program called Super Collab and it was okay, you pay $20 and that you can have it connected to whatever your model tracking program of choice is, and when you then create or look to join a room similar to what VNet has, that you add them on Steam, or that you input their Super Collab ID, and that's how you add them to the room, and that from there it basically works as VNet does. People would pay $20 for that in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, easily.
Now I kind of wish that I was a developer and had the ability to do that. So for any of you coders out there, here's your free one.
There you go. Man, we're really cooking up some good ideas today.
Is there anything, apart from collab tools, is there anything that you hope to see in terms of VTubing technology in the next couple years? Something that you can't do yet, or that you can't do easily right now, that you want to see either streamlined, quality of life, innovated, or something even that you just can't do at all right now that you'd love to see made possible?
Oh man, that is such a good question. and I don't know if I have an answer to it.
It is a very big question. That's a very
Yeah.
high-level conceptual question. To be fair, I don't know if I have an answer for that question.
Yeah, I think more so. I just hope that 3D VTubing becomes more accessible. I think like a lot of innovation has been made in live 2D area, and we're starting to see a lot of things come out for 3D, but the barrier to entry for 3D is still quite high with a lot of the cost of things. I've seen like you can capture hand motion and upper body things with just a webcam these days, but it's still not to like such a clean level as it is with live 2D in my opinion. So just more advancements in accessibility and technology for 3D VTubing specifically, I would love to see. When it comes to like live 2D though, I don't know, because like you can do so many crazy things. Like you can have hand tracking in live 2D now.
Yeah.
It's uncommon, but like I have a friend who has that kind of thing. And like a lot of the things that I would want to do, it's like, well, I just need to like commission my artist to do that. Like I need to commission a new toggle or something. Like I have some pretty cool like toggles that I can have on my model already, and I feel like I try and do new things, have cool redeems for my chat and stuff, but off the top of my dome, I don't know if I can think of anything that
Like I said, in a lot of ways, we couldn't imagine what we have now 2 years ago, and now we can't imagine what we'll have in 2 years, that some of these things are just, all right, we haven't thought of it yet.
Exactly.
Sometimes these things are, once you have it, it seems so obvious. It's like, oh my gosh, how did nobody make this beforehand? And, well, that's when you have innovation, when somebody realizes the thing that everybody wants but doesn't realize that they want.
Doesn't know that they want, yeah. Oh, Ghost has a really good opinion there, is like the optimization. Oh my god, you gotta be having a NASA level computer to run some of these VTuber programs at the same time as playing a game in OBS. It's intensive. That's another barrier. Like if you want something very high quality, that you have to have a good rig that can support.
I'm pretty sure that's going to happen relatively naturally. That just the general progress of computer chips in terms of processing power and quality happens very naturally. That, you know, whatever the top, you know, the 3080 was the big thing, and
computers are progressing, but specifically the optimization of programs. Like VTube Studio as a program is beefy, like crazy to run at the same time. So if it's possible to optimize things, or maybe it is just a matter of getting computers that can handle everything.
Yeah, that as long as the requirements for VTube Studio do not also increase along with the trajectory of computer chip power, the problem will solve itself over time. If it doesn't, if VTube Studio ends up having updates and that, you know, models increase at such a rate where they are increasing the required power to run at or exceeding the rate that computer chip improvement goes, then we will have this problem, or it could get worse. And it's just a matter of, if VTube Studio can not bloat, if it can remain where it is now, the problem will solve itself over time. But obviously, you know, as you know, new developments and new different add-ons and programs are made, there is naturally going to be bloat, and it's just, is overall processing power going to outpace that or not? And again, we don't really have a way of knowing that at this point. But it's so exciting, because either way, one way or another, that if things were to bloat, that it would become very apparent very quickly, and that you would just see whatever new thing probably either not adopted or brought back to the drawing board or optimized somehow, that it would be very, very difficult for an innovation. If people can't use an innovation, the innovation won't spread. Plain and simple. That if the concept, even if it's good, if it is so unoptimized that it's not viable, it can't actually become a trend in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about things outpacing to the point where, we wouldn't cause our own demise in that way. Things just wouldn't get innovated for a while, that you would get sort of stuck in a holding pattern. But, the hope definitely would be, I agree with you and Ghost, that if we can get things to run, either a bit more streamlined or at the very least keep it where it is now, and as computer chips improve, not have the requirements increase on our end, that's the other big piece of accessibility of, well, the graphics card is the most expensive part of the computer. There's a lot to look forward to. It's so cool and so fun. That certainly for me as a talk show host, that I am not worried about running out of VTubers to talk to, and I'm not worried about VTubing going anywhere. That I very much designed this one for the long haul.
Yeah, this is a format that can.
Did we have another catastrophe? Is everybody okay?
There's another catastrophe going on underneath my desk here. They're really not this bad normally. They really know that I'm like doing something important right now. Hold on. Boys. Goodness gracious.
Hopefully everything's all right with them and the others. And Vino M, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it.
Sorry. Oh my goodness. I swear it never happens, but of course on the one day where I have like a guest,
they wanted to be on the show. They wanted to be on the show, and they were like, "Well, this is how I get on the show."
Oh my gosh, they're embarrassing me. I'm so sorry.
Like I said, there have been many, many pet cameos on VTuber Talk. Sometimes it is barking and meowing. Sometimes it is random noises in the background. At the very least, this time it doesn't sound like anybody fell.
Yeah, no, everything's fine. It's just there's a lot of catastrophes happening around me today.
But also now, as I look at the time, I realize we've been at this for 3.5 hours.
We have. Oh, we have. Wait.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the time. Oh shoot.
Just
a bunch of yappers.
Yeah, like I said, I look for the yappers. I know what I'm getting into. And I'm the worst offender of all.
Good. No, I love a good yapping.
I have just a couple of last questions that I ask all my guests before the end of the show. And one of them is, do you have any goals for the rest of the year? That you talked about some of your plans for October and for spooky season, but we still have a couple of months left, and whether that be trying to complete a particular game or video or project, or if you have plans for a new model or design, if you're trying to get maybe a cover done, is there anything you're hoping to accomplish before the end of the year?
Man, yeah, like a lot of the things that I've planned, I mean, as an indie VTuber, I don't have a manager or anything. I'm doing everything on my own. So, of course, things have been pushed back. A lot of my plans are now for the new year. So I do have a 3D model in the works. I do have an updated, I have another outfit for this model that's in the works. I have a chibi model coming up as well. I'm planning things for my birthday, for my anniversary. But for this year, I've hit a lot of my personal goals. I reached Partner Plus.
Yeah.
Second level. I've grown my socials more this year. We're really close to hitting 20K on Twitch. Just a lot of personal goals that have gone really, really well. I got to have my first meet and greet this past year, which was another big goal of mine, and I hope
fantastic.
to do more in the future.
Where was that?
It was in Texas. It's like a small little Texas con that I got invited to. I was supposed to be at, I think it's called SumiCon in Texas again, I believe, in a couple weeks, but something came up last minute.
Aw.
But yeah, I've been doing that with Aura Culture, and they're lovely. So I will be attending more conventions in the future, and I hope to. Maybe a future goal of mine is to maybe attend a TwitchCon one day. It would be super neat. But yeah, honestly, like my progress as a VTuber has been not like blown up, but exponentially good. So a small, like slow climb, but a exponentially good one, and that is all I can ask for. It's been lovely, and I have a lot of lovely things to look forward to in the future as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last question I ask all my guests is, what does being a VTuber mean to you? And we've actually just discussed a lot about VTubing, where we think it's going, some of the history, and that, like D&D and many other things, there's no wrong way to be a VTuber. I've had folks say, VTubing lets me get in touch with my inner child. It lets me be someone I can't be in real life. I've had others who have a more clinical approach, perhaps, that have said, it is a tool in my toolbox as an entertainer. It's an outfit that I wear to put on a show, and I don't necessarily feel a deep emotional connection, but that I'm able to be more creative and entertaining as a VTuber. And those are pretty different relationships with VTubing, but they're both entirely legitimate, and there's stuff in between that and even beyond. So for you, Kitsune Eve, what does being a VTuber mean to you?
Oh man, it's a loaded question. I mean, we touched on a lot of things that are important to me. I think one of the biggest things is like kind of how we were having conversations about we don't even know what we want yet. That's kind of what VTubing was to me. Is like I always knew I loved art, and there was always a part of me that really loved YouTubers and like YouTubing and content creation, but I never quite found something that meshed well with me, because I'm a very introverted person. I like really need to warm up to somebody in real life to talk to them properly, but VTubing really gave me that catalyst to jump off and really not worry about like how I might come across to someone, or like worry about what I look like or anything like that. It wasn't even about that. It was mostly just like I could skip all of the internal things that I was scared about with talking with people and just be 100% myself. I don't play like a character, like role play. I'm really just, I sound like this and I am just like this on my stream. So yeah, I think I just kind of fell into like kind of the perfect job for me. Like nothing ever has stuck quite as well as VTubing has, which was surprising and scary and also wonderful and amazing, because I, in the back of my mind, always enjoyed these things but just never thought I could take part in them. So I think VTubing is kind of filled a void of not quite knowing what I can do as a job, or like what quite fits well for me. And yeah, I think it's mostly like fulfillment for me.
I always ask that at the end of the show because, one, it helps sort of put a bow on things, and two, while I never know what the answers will be, the answers always make sense. That even after just a couple hours of talking, that there's certain consistencies, or that you see sequences of events, and that, from what you were explaining earlier for how you fell into VTubing, and we were also talking about your skill set from outside and before VTubing, and how that then played into all this. Combine that with your mention of, all right, you're sometimes a little hesitant to talk with people and open up a bit in real life, but that with VTubing, it makes things just that little bit easier, and that with that, it then unlocks so much from there when you then combine it with those extra skills, those overlapping interests, that previous experience in cosplay and idols and art and design, interest in, again, idols and anime, that it's very clear to see how you got here, that the
Yeah,
dots
like
all
my
connect. It makes
trajectory.
sense.
Like when you would talk about it all like that, it's like of course she ended up being a
This
VTuber, but
almost that some folks, I've heard some crazy stories. There are some folks that have fallen into VTubing who never would have expected it, and you look at their background and say there was, some very specific event, some canon event that happened that had it not happened, they might not have wound up in VTubing, but they did, and that then there's a couple things of it makes sense why it stuck. But yours, it feels like, okay, you could go to multiple timelines, and I feel like in a good half of those timelines, we still wind up here.
yeah, that's really fair. Sometimes I always attributed like, well, COVID to kind of kicking off my interest in VTubers and, being the breeding ground of like creativity because I was stuck at home without anything to do. But now that we talk about it this way, it's like, honestly, I feel like I probably would have found
No
it.
doubt that things got perhaps accelerated or given the opportunity to happen. My guess is, all right, if 2020 unfolds differently, I think you still wind up in VTubing, but a couple years later. I think all things otherwise the same, you're probably getting into VTubing right around now that there's enough of the overlap of interest that you probably fall into the rabbit hole somewhere along the line, whether it be just the overlap of idols in general that gets you there, and then you're only one step away from that at that point. But you and frankly many others wound up in VTubing in the early part of 2020 for very much the same reasons, and again, makes sense logically in that goodness knows there are plenty of people who spent their government stimulus checks on VTuber rigs, which is frankly exactly what the government wanted. The government, the whole point of an economic stimulus is to give people money so that they will spend it, because that's the whole concept. They don't care, and they don't want it to be spent on groceries or rent, actually, because that's the basics. That's something that people will always have to spend on. They want it to be spent on something else. They need the other parts of the economy to be pushed. And so people who spent their stimulus checks on VTuber models, that's what they wanted. We have government-funded VTubers.
That's beautiful. That's
also,
so
lurking
beautiful.
Yoshi, thank you for the raid.
Hi, Yoshi. Thank you.
But yeah, for you, it's so clear how you wound up here, and I think that, like I said, you winding up here as early as you did, because you're going on, was it 3 years?
Yeah, okay, so the timeline is a little, it's a little timey-wimey, because I was like VTubing on and off, streaming on and off, for like 2-ish years, and I don't really count it because it was like once a week kind of situation, like not very professionally or like taking very seriously, but I started taking it very seriously 2 or 3 years ago, so that's kind of when I start counting it.
And
but
here you are now, and like
I was
said,
there during 2020.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see what the next year and beyond holds for you. That I'm very excited that you've been able to have so much success and that you've accomplished so many of your goals for this year already, and that if you're here now, but just like we don't know where VTubing could be in 2 years, that imagine where you could be in 2 years.
That's crazy to think about. It's insane, honestly. I'm excited to see where this show is. I'm glad I was introduced to you now, because I mean, I was telling you how much I love podcasts and stuff. I will definitely be lurking and listening in on other talks with VTubers.
Oh, I very much appreciate that, if you ever want to start your own talk show, that I want more talk shows in the world. I do not want to have the market cornered. I don't even call it competition. I want more talk shows to watch. I want more talk shows to watch myself. So
I kind of have one, a little bit, with some friends. We call it the Yapcast.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, but we haven't had it for a while because we've all been busy. But those will come back. More yapping in our future, for sure.
So one of the biggest things, though, is getting the good name for the show. I feel like I got super lucky and in on the ground floor that I was able to get the name Vtuber Talk.
Vtuber Talk is crazy. Yeah.
When I had the idea, I got the handle on Twitch and Twitter the same day and was like, I'm going to decide in a week if I actually want to do this idea, but I'm not going to get a better name than Vtuber Talk for my Vtuber Talk show, so I need this now. I know that I like to think I'm marginally creative. I don't think I'm that creative. Someone else is going to be smart enough to think of this name because it's not a creative name.
Somebody is cursing you out for sure.
But that you all were able to get Yapcast. That I feel like you all were kind of in on the ground floor there. That because Yap as a phrase has, I feel, really gotten into more mainstream usage really in the past year or so. That I don't think anyone would have made the Yapcast 3 years ago.
We haven't secured any socials. I don't know if
might want to double check that.
I know.
I feel like that's really good.
Surely there's probably a couple other Yapcasts. I don't know if it's the most ingenious name, but it just kind of makes sense for us. Just kind of works for now.
But definitely let me know if you all end up having more shows. Definitely will tune in for that. And again, I just really appreciate you taking time out to be here. And it's been a lot of fun. This is episode 160.
Yeah, happy 160. Yeah. Congratulations.
And that, honestly, this year's been... I've had fewer shows this year than in years 1 through 3. I've been busy. And it's all been very positive, busy things. So no issues there. And that actually, knock on wood, I'm planning on having a pretty good number of shows between now and the end of the year. So, not actively trying to make up for lost time, but after, being on and off for a couple months, that for a long time it was very consistent, like once a week, pretty much like clockwork. So it's helped me avoid burnout. Incidentally, just the other way, it's like, okay, I have the itch, the urge to do more shows right now than I might normally do.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. But again, tonight was just such a blast. I cannot thank you enough for taking time out. I do actually have one last question, and that's who would you like us to raid?
Oh man. Actually, there's quite a few people streaming right now.
Well, while she looks around, I'll do some last housekeeping. So again, to everybody in chat, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you again, Lurking Yoshi and CapTCRABS, for the raids. Really appreciate both of you. Thank you for everybody who has followed. That, like I mentioned, I don't do these shows with total consistency. The days of the week and the time are going to vary. I do try and schedule around my guests. So if you want to see more shows like this, you can just follow me here on Twitch and Twitter. It's just Vtuber Talk both places. I need to get my backlog of shows up onto my YouTube channel. I think I'm like 5 or 6 shows behind. I have all the files. I just need to get to uploading them. But that you can see the vast majority of my shows up on YouTube right now. And this one should be up in hopefully a couple of weeks, that I'm actually going to probably spend some of the weekend doing that.
VOD watchers for the catastrophes in the background.
Well, the VOD will be here for a week. That they only last 7 days for me, since I never actually took affiliate. I chose not to.
Yeah, I noticed that is so... I think that's so cool. Can I just say?
I'm very fortunate to have a full-time job that I enjoy, and that also just for me, as someone whose entire content is based on collabs.
Yeah.
I've always been hesitant to monetize.
I feel like that really speaks volumes of the show. That you just are here for people to meet new VTubers and to have just really meaningful and cool talks. I really commend you for that. I think that's a really interesting way to do the show.
I'm definitely proud of what I've been able to do over the past 3.5 years. And wow, it's been 3.5 years. That's weird. But it's been a lot of fun. I've just been very lucky and very fortunate that 160 people have taken time out of their days to be on, my little old channel. That the goal and the hope is eventually be able to say, hey, come on my show. I'd love to get a lot of new eyes on your content. I fully understand that my numbers are very low, that if not every darn near every person who has been on the show has been, in terms of, follower, viewer count, bigger than me. That the few times that I do solo streams for my charity marathon rewards, I know I'm not pulling many on my own. That hopefully someday I can say, come on my show, I'll get more eyes on your content. I understand that's not a benefit I can offer right now, so all I can offer is making darn sure that my guest has a good time, and that's the goal, and I do my best.
I had a great time. Thank you for having me on.
Have you found a raid target?
Yeah, I think you talked with her just last time. It's Bear VT. She's
Bear's Live.
Minecraft.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that's a good raid target.
Yeah, definitely.
She's great. She's also a new friend recently.
I can see how you and Bear would get along.
Yeah,
we similar interests, similar backgrounds, and
yeah, I didn't know that before we started collabing either. We didn't know that we were both in the art industry, so we kind of had our own Yapcast when I was on her stream a couple weeks back.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, because that I asked sort of the high level questions as someone who is not an artist, but I can imagine get the two of you in a collab and that you're able to really
it got technical.
Drill down into the technical stuff. Like that's the stuff I love. I love hearing people talk shop and just get into the technical, and that I like to think I'm smart enough to sort of connect the dots and figure out, okay, so they're using this term, that they're probably talking about this, that, the other, but that those are the types of conversations and questions that I'm probably just not going to think to ask as a host, or at the very least that I'm not going to be able to reciprocate on the same level that another artist is going to be able to. So those are the types of things that I really like to tune into and just hear about. That's always so much fun. But yes, we will be heading over to Bear. Be sure to let her know that Eve sent you all. And again, thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in, whether you were here at the pre-show or if you got rated in or if you just stumbled on in somewhere along the line. Really do appreciate you. And Eve, again, thank you for being here tonight. This has been so much fun. So you all have a great rest of your evenings. Say hi to Bear for us, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye, chat.